Let's see it this evening.
Oh, that's, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Where's the music? What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options. And I'm Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. I was just talking to Randy off camera about the Cybertruck shenanigans on the weekend. It was good times. I got more to say about that. Juan Padilla, what up, baby? Day Trader Cut and Black Hawk JP. How about Jacques and you, the Piper? The SAR, we got Gladys G, Evan, Random, Frank Hong, Big Saws, okay, I see you there. Tiger, the Cosmic, Dan Cat, and CompuCare team. What up, my man? It's been a minute since I've seen you. Ron John, how about Gareth and Cass, Northwestern, Canopy, Development, that is a mouthful right there. Papa Bear and Mr. Ian. How about Vern, Brenrex? Yes, my man, Brenrex. Remember you from Thursday, baby. We got Chucky, Day Trader Cut, Jimmy, Joe Smith, and Los Polos Hermanos with Daryl Finch and Mary. Bold. I'm not going to say that last part because I'm not allowed, but bold. We got Lo-Fi Soul. Yeah, I'll tell you after. Ezekiel. We got It's Moko. Hello, Moto. Lo-Fi Soul, All Tank Friends, S. Stevenson, ATN, The Ultimate Fashion Joseph, and Kobe the Dang Kid, Blue Arrow, Trejo, Mitchell, Andrew, Pitchbull, 2 New York cents, and one more. Bitcoin Trader TV. Everything I like, all in one name right there. Shout out to you. Insanity. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Mine started off a little bit rocky, but things did progress as the weekend went on. Joseph, good morning.
Good to hear that, brother. Yeah, I mean, good morning here, guys. Fantastic look here in the market. Yeah, and this is where we want to see some relative strength stepping in. You can see that we gapped up in multiple names here, guys. So that's a positive sign here. Bitcoin trading pretty well. Unfortunately, I didn't trade it too well. We'll pull up my screen here and see what we got going on here, guys. Yeah, so we entered here off the jump. Small size, but then this is when we really started to push some size here, guys, and then I got stopped out multiple times there, and then sure enough, it just goes in your favor. So check out my post there on X. This is trade 1, trade 2, and trade 3. But yeah, thesis was right. We seen that we were gapping up here. I know we got a lesson Sharif. We'll talk a little bit more about what else we're cooking. We had trading today. We traded some NVDA, and they're kind of the same story here with IBIT. So unfortunately, not the best trading. I went to bed early. I'm like, hey, I'm ready. I'm coming in to perform as I usually do, but then I woke up at 4 a.m., Sharif, and I couldn't fall back asleep.
I hate that, dude.
Yeah, and I'm like, man. So I'm like, so sleep is really key.
Sorry, bro.
Hey, it is what it is, brother. There's going to be another day. We've been putting on some nice trades as of late. Was looking forward to hitting this one nice and heavy. This was a home run swing. This is what I was doing. I was looking to hit it out the park here on that one. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We struck out, but that's okay.
Were you looking at the market last night?
On Blue Ocean?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you didn't look at the future?
No.
I thought you were getting all amped up because we gapped up yesterday. I was like, this guy's amped up for the morning.
No, I'm like, oh, okay, Bitcoin was at 97,000. So I'm like, okay, I know the market's, 87, sorry. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I think the market's going to be strong if Bitcoin's rallying.
That's exactly what I thought. Literally, when Bitcoin was breaking, I'm like, we're going to gap up on the futures at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll this morning. Wake up at 4 a.m. and then sure enough, here we are.
You got 4 more days, baby.
Exactly, yeah.
I see you, John Van Saunders, the most polite individual in the chat. Shout out to John. You're more than welcome, John, as always. So let's get right to the lesson du jour. We're finishing up our conversation on the gap and go strategy. Today, we're going to specifically talk about the multi-signal approach to the gap and go strategy. So as we know, the gap and go strategy is a popular way to capitalize on strong price movements in intraday trading, but relying solely on gaps alone is a little risky. So this lesson explores how to navigate and integrate technical indicators with the gap and go strategy for a more comprehensive and all-around approach. Let's get right down to it. So beyond the gap, while gaps offer valuable insights, they can be misleading at times. Technical indicators provide additional data points to help confirm the validity of the gap and go opportunity, and here's how to combine them. Step 1, you want to identify that gap. Just to kind of reiterate what a gap is, if we closed out at $200 on Friday and we're opening up today at 9:30 at 205, that is a $5 gap. The gap is calculated by looking at the previous day's closing print and comparing that to the subsequent day's opening print. The variance, if any, is the gap. Number 2, you want to select your indicators. So as usual, you want to identify the gaps. Start by finding stocks with significant gaps up or down. I'm talking about 5% plus at the open, accompanied with high volume. That is step number 1. You're looking for gappers, 5% plus, accompanied by high volume, ideally with a catalyst, so you can kind of know that the breakout is supported by a reason and not just because somebody's pumping it. Number 2, you want to select your indicators. So you want to choose technical indicators, hopefully not a new, hopefully you're already very well aware of them. You want to choose technical indicators that complement the gap and go strategy. Here are some popular ones. Trend indicators like your moving averages, your RSIs. These can confirm the overall trend direction, whether upward bullish gaps or downward bearish gaps. So you're looking, number 1, for your indicators, trend indicators, moving averages, RSI, etc. Then you're looking for some momentum indicators, okay? The moving average convergence divergence, MACD, as we've talked about. The stochastic oscillator as well could help gauge strength of the trend behind the gap. Or your regular indicators like support and resistance indicators. I'm talking about Bollinger Band, pivot points. Joseph likes pivots. He talks about them at times. These can help identify entry and exit points based on historical price levels. So that is what we're looking at right there. So that is your gaps. And the benefits of combining these indicators. So you obviously try to reduce the false signals. False signals are an ever-present danger in trading. So technical indicators can help filter out misleading gaps and identify stronger trend continuations. In addition, the confirmation of the trend strength. Indicators can highlight the momentum behind the gap, giving you more confidence before entering that trade. And lastly, improved entry and exit points, especially with things like pivots. They tend to kind of foreshadow what the support and resistance levels might be. They're not foolproof by any means, but they definitely give you another tool or another arrow in your quiver, so to speak. So technical analysis can suggest potential entry and exit points based on support and resistance levels or overbought and oversold conditions, MACD, RSI, etc. Some considerations you need to keep in mind, though. Indicator selection. Choose indicators that suit your trading style and risk tolerance. There is certainly no one-size-fits-all approach. And indicator overload. Has anybody seen Obi's charts? Right? Don't rely on, I'm using him as a joke example here, but he obviously is an excellent trader. I don't want to make that point. But Obi has a lot of indicators on his charts. He has a lot of lines on his charts. So don't rely on too many. Focus on a few that complement your gap and go strategy. And confirmation is never a guarantee by any means, even with support and resistance indicators on your charts and being used well. Gaps and trends can certainly reverse on a whim. So always manage risk with stop loss orders. And some context here, consider using different types of gaps. Like we've talked about this in the past, not recently, but there are different types of gaps that you really need to know about. There's common gaps, continuation gaps, exhaustion, runaway, breakaway gaps. And so depending on what type of gap you think you see, it might require a more nuanced approach to the trade, okay? So keep that in mind. All right. And the takeaway, combining technical indicators with the gap and go strategy certainly helps make this a more viable setup and gives you more tools in your tool chest in order to do what you do. I hope everybody prints up that storm. Joseph, what do you got?
Hey, good luck there, my friend. Yeah, we'll send it off to Adair, then we'll come back here.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's all right.
You just keep an eye here in AAPL, getting a nice push to the upside. Apparently, China's Commerce Minister had a meeting with Apple CEO Tim Cook. After this meeting, said that China is willing to work with the U.S. through equal dialogue to foster a more stable policy environment for businesses, further saying that China actually will be welcoming more investment from Apple. So AAPL getting a bit of a pop here, as you can see with this little leg to the upside, as China's Commerce Minister says that they're going to be welcoming more investment from the company. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Dara. Yeah, guys, so who asked me in the chat? Nishan asked me to take a look at the options chain. So what I see on the call side here at 120, we have a lot of OI. We're already, what are we sitting at right now? Yeah, around that level, 121. So we're north of that. Be wary of that. We might pull back a little bit. But there is a hefty ladder through 122 all the way to roughly 128. So a slight imbalance on the call side for open interest. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to lead you in the wrong way. I don't know how to interpret that necessarily, but I'll figure it out here because at 122, we got 34,000, 123, 48,000, 52,000, which is significantly larger than what we have to the downside on NVDA. So hopefully we can run through those levels, but there is a lot of resistance. Speaking of NVDA, we're in some IBIT right now. You can see that we have to break through this trend line, and then I'm going to add. But I mentioned earlier before, guys, I was pushing really heavy here, and it's really unfortunate because that would have been out the park home run there. So we were pushing size, and unfortunately didn't work out. So over 3 there, and then over 4 on IBIT, which is slightly embarrassing, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. But yeah, same thing here on NVDA, guys. Same thing kind of played out. I entered once. I'm like, okay, this name usually has multiple fake outs. Let me be a little bit more patient on that front. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, nice liquidity grab. And then we head back to view up. I'm like, okay, let me add in heavy into this. And then we just weren't moving with the overall market. And I'm like, what is going on here, right? But then eventually it just pulled back. And I'm like, all right, let me get out of this trade. I'll take whatever little cash it gives me and then get right back into it. But then sure enough, later, it continued to trade higher. So that's okay. That would have been, we would have been grand slamming today at that point, Sharif, if we held on to both of these trades. But that's what if history. And we don't play that around here. We play it how it is, and I dropped the ball in a little bit of paper hands, so that's okay, because you know what, we still got a lot of day left. We got risk left on the table. That's the key thing about being a risk manager, so we can still put on some nice trades. Going to be patient because I'm still confident. You're still muted there, brother, I believe it. Yeah, we're still confident within the setup, but NVDA ripping higher is a really, really good sign. Let's see if we can break through 122, but I mentioned, Nishan, that there is a hefty ladder on the options chain in order for us to get through some of those levels as the market starts to pull in here. So we'll be patient, wait for that opportunity to arise. I want to add into IBIT, and if we have the chance, then we'll do so.
All right, I got a knack for knack. No, I had to, bro. I mean, yeah, Dara, there's going to be more of that too because Caps is there, Dara, so you know how it's going to be today. Here's what we're looking at, baby. Caps has given up the ghost. It broke down below 350. So this one's on my S list. You know what that is. Below that $3.50 area, it has to be above the volume weighted average price. I'll have no truck with this one. KDLY, this one looking awfully good. Range per candle is wide, so make sure you account for that based on your stop placement, position size, and beak wetting placement. KDLY above the volume weighted average price just printed that big boy high, day 253. Okay. NAK, that's the one I weaseled into. It's a VWAP hold. It's going to be a tight VWAP hold. I will not be giving this one any opportunities below that level. I will not be dollar cost averaging. It's either going to hold this area or I'm going to take the L. The stop is below 10. Ionic, IONQ, not a small cap gapper, but it just printed high day, so it's got my respect. 25.74 HOD. It's respecting the hell out of the 10 exponential moving average. A pull into that 25.25 gets me in. Currently, that could change because the 10 exponential, which is what I'm basing that 25.25 entry on, is a dynamic level. So if it moves up, I'm going to move up with it. But this is all the hype right now. This one's got everybody's attention. It's a 212% winner. It's moving up into the dang high of the day. I'm talking about MLGO, Joseph. This is a rocket ship right now. Bang. Closed out Friday at 250. We're at $8, give or take a couple of pennies. So needless to say, this one's got everybody's attention at the moment. How we trade it, though, will make all the difference in the world. It is getting extended away from that 10 exponential moving average on the 5, which I use as an informal gauge of overbought, oversold conditions. I'd like a pull in or pull back, into that $7.675. We'll see what we get there. MLGO, great look. Now, IMTE is breaking down. It's still up 100%, 99.8, but it's below the pre-market high. It is below VWAP. This one is losing it in a hurry, okay? So this one is not tradable for me until it gets above that 1 2/3 because that is the pre-market high. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw the alert there for that $1.50. At least we have like a 15-penny warning about when this one is approaching, if it approaches that 1 2/3. In case you're wondering why I don't want to trade this below $1.65, That's because that $1.65 is a pre-market high, and I won't trade these small cap gappers if they're not above the pre-market high. LUNR, again, not a small cap gapper, but a respectable trend. It's having a whole bunch of trouble with 8 3/4, despite the fact that the high of the day goes into 881. It's generally, underline that, generally respecting the 10 exponential, but not putting in higher highs with any vigor. It's holding support, but not really making that higher high with a new high a day. We're going to keep an eye on LUNR. And then last but not least, one that's been on my crap list for many, many months now, ever since I lost a little bit of money on it on a swing, MARA. Great looking bull flag to start the day, Joseph. That 930 pop, we consolidate, we hold the levels, we pop again, we're bull flagging again with $14 as the high of the day. So I perceive 2 bull flag setups on Mara. Do we get a third? I wouldn't mind giving this one a try intraday, Joseph. I wouldn't mind picking it up, 13 and 4/5, 13 and 3/4, with essentially the low end of this bull flag range as my out. So if it gives up the ghost at like 1370, that's the end of the trade, and we get the hell out of there. So that's my look right now. IONQ is the best looking one right now, looking to go into that high a day, but MLGO will have my attention. Now, currently, the one that I'm involved in is this NAK one, as I mentioned. This is the bad side about NAK is the lower high situation. It's got consecutively lower highs ever since taking that $1.28 high a day. And what I'm waiting for here is a pop-off VWAP. That's it. That's this whole setup is based on that. A pull in the VWAP, and then a possible move back up. Let's see what everyone's saying about BBAI, because I kind of see that in the chat. Okay, I see why you guys are yelling about BBAI. It's breaking out. So let's look at Big Bear AI here, one of the ones that the Katina man had for a swing. I'm pretty sure he did well on that. Wow, that's a hell of a rounded bottom there, bro. Ever since that breakdown back on the 18th, we kind of flatten out there, 293, and now we're back up in the good books today, 350. So Big Bear, not the biggest percentage winner on the day. You can see that only 14 and 2/3, but we already have IMTE and the like breaking down. So I can certainly remove that one for and put in Big Bear instead of those, because that's a good look right now. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, good look there, brother. I just feel like swinging the bat today, my guy. So we hopped into some more IBIT. Let me take these off here. It kind of bothered me. I have my eyes twitching. But here we go. We're starting to get the ball rolling. We had to crack through this trend line. I waited for this pullback to add into the position, and then I just quadrupled it just because that's just how your boy feels today. So let's see if we can climb and go and test this high day. I believe that IBIT and the overall market is relatively strong, so we want to stick with the strength. And let's see if we can kind of recover from some of that FOMO that we missed out on earlier today. So that's not too horrible of a look there. Guys, climb a little bit higher. I think this pivot is going to be real key, so we'll look to take a little bit more off there. A nice try there, Gaurav. I was looking at the same thing. There's a little bit of selling pressure, and I would have liked to see it hover just below VWAP a little bit more and then print that hammer candle. But I like what you're thinking, especially on that pullback. We still can recover here. Wait for a couple more indecision prints, and then maybe we'll start to see that continuation in strength. But so we're gonna stick with this thesis, slowly climbing higher up here in IBIT. Let's see, I still have about 95% of the position left. So that's not too bad. We'll take it, Sharif. So there we go. Holding off. If we can crack through the high day, I believe we can really get the ball rolling here, guys. It's nothing for Bitcoin to put in those 7 or 10K days. So let's see if we can get that up. We're up about 5% on the day. And like Sharif said, I'm like, okay, that's a positive sign here for the market. If we see that Bitcoin is around 87,000, when I looked at my phone, and for some reason I'm like, I just wanted to look, and I'm like, I feel like that Bitcoin's going to be trading higher here. And it's putting in a pretty good day here today, guys. Up 5 1/5. So positive sign. We're running into some key levels. We'll trim a little bit more up here just because, but nothing too crazy. We want to hold the majority of this position for the dream here, which is going to be putting us up around $50.50, and then look for the crack of that. Speaking of Camarilla pivots, Sharif was talking about pivots.
Good call.
And I'm going to refer to my Amazon thesis and my hood thesis a little bit more. I'm not going to touch on it too much right now, but from a monthly standpoint, it explains why I decided to put on the trade. Yeah, I can hear you. It kind of explains why I wanted to put on the trade. And then IBIT, for all my cam traders, you would notice that in the morning we gapped up and we were outside of the cam range. So that's kind of just blue sky territory in reference to kind of the cam Marilla pivot structure. And then where we opened up on some of these big names today, right above R4. So we'll go over the cam lesson maybe later on in the week or next week. But when you trade into a bounce level, here we go. I draw this quite often. I'll pull out my trusty tool here, guys. We're climbing higher. So we're going to call this R4 right here. And then when we trade into it, so we've opened up on top and we trade into it, you look for a bounce and a rebound of those key pivots. And that's what happened in the overall market and some of the big names this morning as well, too. So that's why I had more conviction that we were going to continue this trend, especially because we gapped up here earlier in the mornings. There we go. Going to take a little bit more off there, guys. Hopefully I didn't take too much off. Yes, I did. No.
What happened?
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I took off more than what I wanted to, but that's okay. Yeah, but we're starting to climb higher. Positive sign. I do believe we're going to crack the high a day. I only wanted to take off about 5%. I ended up taking off 15%, but it is what it is. We're climbing higher. Good look here. But anyways, back to this Camarilla pivot kind of short-term lesson is that when you run into a R4, when you open up above R4, you're looking for the bounce and then the continuation within the trend. And that's what we got here today. So that's something that I look over every morning and I just build theses based off of those. And that's where my Amazon thesis came off of. I'll show you guys after I give it back to Sharif what I was looking at here on S4 and in some of the bigger names here. That's why I decided to grab some hood and then swing some Amazon calls as well too, Sharif.
All right, quick scalp here on MLGO on this micro pullback. If you watch other small cap gapper traders, you probably know what micro pullback is. We'll do an entire lesson on that. I think it's warranted, but coming up soon. Anyway, pull back into 707, got in 707 for the 7 defend, and basically trying to front run the volume, the 10 exponential moving average, and then we had a good print there into 742. So quick scalp on MLGO up 184%. I don't want to say this the best trade is behind this one because I don't think that's accurate. This is the deepest retracement it's had on the day, a 3-candle pullback with kind of preceded by a topping tail. I'd like to see how it acts at that 675. That is when it actually touches the 10 exponential. Does it hold up there? Are there buyers with resting orders at the 10 exponential, or is it just another line on my chart that means bupkis? We're going to find out awfully soon. It's going to lose 7 right now. If it loses 7 and it loses a 10 exponential, the area I have to look next is honestly $50.50. I'm going to be looking at 6, obviously, because that is a whole dollar level, and it could act as psychological support. But the volume weighted average price is at 550. So I'm going to be looking around there, and it looks like it is zigging and zagging with 7, kind of a double bottom into that high 6s for now. We'll see how this cookie crumbles. We're doing really well, though, on NAK. Appreciate you, Joseph. This one did hold onto the volume weighted average price. Beak wet. 16s, beak wet 18s. Now I'm weighing at 20s. Because this is a bit of a cheaper one, we took more shares on this one, so we'll see if this one wants to pop up and give me the old print there. We're going to wait at 19s as well, because I just remembered I had shares on this one. So we'll see exactly what we get, and we won't get upset there. Shout out to Neil. So the good look right now on NAK, but I hear you guys yelling about KDLY and absolutely have the right to yell about that. What a breakout there. It had a clear area of resistance. You could see that mid to low 240s, right? We kind of spiked up there initially at 10.15, dropped all the way down, lost 2, believe it or not, and then the buyer stepped in, putting in the higher lows. That's your key right there. When you have that big boy drop off a topping tail candle, but the subsequent price action puts in higher lows. You can kind of feel the buyers are still in control, even though the sellers had their moment in the sun right there by pushing it below 2, even though it was super brief. So anyway, KDLY seemed to have a bit of a top there at around, let's just say 2.25 to 240. The closing prints are around 2.25. The topping tail took us into that 245. But then all the volume came in. The volume's increasing, guys, on KDLY. I want to show that very clearly here on the black charts. This is unusual for a small cap gapper to have increasing volume into the midday. Look at this. I mean, the 10.15 print was the biggest print on the day until these bad boys started coming in from 10.55 onward. So KDLY KDLY very much in view right now. We'll see if this one wants to continue to run up, possibly give us a bit of a better entry. I'm going to put a resting profit or a resting entry at around 230 to 235 to account for what I perceive to be previous area resistance. So we're going to give that one the old college try. Allow me a second, just kind of screwed up my computer setup there. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. What a day it's been today. Right. Yeah, here we go. So KDLY, oh wow, it just went back into the high of the day there. All right, I'm gonna put my order out there. We're gonna put half the order at 50. So we're gonna go 251 for half the order. And then I'm gonna put the other half of the order at 230. So we'll front run that 225 size. We're gonna give this one a try. We'll see how it acts, how it behaves, and whether or not we can get any prints on this one. So yeah, that's all I'm involved in right now. NAK, definitely trying to get into BB or KDLY here, but this one might leave without, yeah, so maybe something in the low 60s. I think my first entry is going to be in the low 60s over here. So let's go ahead and wait. Yeah, 262. I'm going to wait there for a bit of a smaller pullback. This one will be the small entry, not the size of the one at 50 or the one at 30. So we'll see if we can get, because it's going to break the high of the day. So it's going to run without me. And this is normal. When they're breaking out like this with increasing volume, it's absolutely normal that they don't get a pullback. So it's just about me trying to find a micro pullback to get into. Anyway, 280, high day. That's no longer the case. It's 282 now. This thing is continuing to go quite aggressively. KDLY, be on the lookout for this one. I'm waiting in the low 60s for a dip, then the 50s, then possibly into the volume weighted average price. Still doing nothing on NAK after getting those initial prints. And now MLGO is losing the 10. So this is why I was concerned, because I've seen this story before. When you have such an aggressive move up, the pullbacks are not as fleeting. They're a little bit longer lived, so to speak. So I'm going to be waiting at $6 for the first entry and then $5.50. $6 for the psychological support, $5.50 for the volume weighted average price. That's my story, Joseph.
Nice story. I like it, brother. I like it there. Yeah, here we go, guys. We're still holding on to this IBIT position. If we crack this trend line, then I'm going to get out of it. We did break it to the top side, but now we're starting to come back into my break even. So I'll hold this off. We're a little bit out. I took some majority off, so I don't want to make this winning trade too big of a losing one, because the overall market is starting to pull back as well too. So we have to keep that in mind. And if we go to $50, I'll just have to get out of the trade, and that'll be it. I still had a little bit more than I was thinking that I had, but that's okay, because I was holding it for the dream. And here we go. Yeah, I'm out of this here, guys. We'll look to get right back into it. Not horrible, but not necessarily something that I was looking at to gain here. So if we do rebound and go back towards the volume weighted average price and look like we want to go and test that high day, I think it's going to take some time. Las Pollos in the chat was asking me, like, hey, Joe, I'm looking for a pullback on the Qs. The thing is, at 11:30, I believe that we should have already came back and pulled back and maybe tested it. So we might have to be a little more patient along those lines. And then Marcus James Reed, I'm looking at TNXP right now, and it's just not liquid enough for me. You can see here on the 1 minute. So it's a tough look. I'll zoom out from a daily perspective to see what we got going on. It is biotech, which I also don't trade. And if I were to see this from a daily standpoint, I don't like it. I'm just going to be frank with you here, right? Again, if it's working out for you, that's all that matters. But just from a price action standpoint, I necessarily wouldn't be paying too much mind to this name here. But I'm glad that it's working out for you. And liquidity is going to be an issue as well, too, there on that front. So, yeah, that's the game plan here, guys. Okay, so, yeah, Gorev asked me to talk about some Camarilla pivots, as I was referring to earlier. The thing that I really like about them, they're objective, right? You lose that subjective matter where you place kind of the Fibonacci retracements on your chart. You have to put it at a specific pivot, and then with that, it becomes subjective. So with Camarilla pivots, they're preset. They're calculated off of previous days' highs, lows, closes, and pre-market levels as well too. I don't know the exact formula off by heart, but that's what they're calculated off of, and that's what I use to look. So I'll use another example here, guys. So I was referring to that R4 level. So now what we're going to refer to is this S4 level. So we're going to call R4 all the way up here and S4 all the way up here. And it's the same thing, essentially, right? So when you open up above that specific level, you're looking for the hold and then the rejection of it. And then that's what I essentially built my Amazon thesis off of at the base of it, because it had a lot of indecision prints on the daily chart that I was like, oh, okay. And you have more conviction and confluence within the setup if you're using these cam structures from a monthly standpoint. So you have an S4 level here, and you have bottoming signals on the price action prints that can just add a little bit more confidence within this setup. And then that's why I decided to grab options on that front. And I've been extremely more selective on some of my trades, because I want to have that accuracy, and I want to have the ability to push them as heavy as I possibly can, but getting slightly uncomfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be slightly uncomfortable. All right. Yeah. So here we go on IBIT. We got some off here, guys. We're waiting for this retest. If we can hold this level, you can see that we have this downtrend, and if price wants to slowly turn around, maybe we'll take another stab at it. We do have some indecision on the price action prints, which are extremely positive. I'll pull it up here. So a lot of indecision. And that's why I added. So you can see, guys, that I was in right here. We get that pullback, and then I add right around here because of this hammer candle there, Gora, Los Polios, and all my VPA traders. Then we add it, and then we get it all the way up here. But then we ran into this resistance zone and then rejected it there. So yeah, keep that in mind. I thought we were going to go and test that high a day, but a nice indecision here. We'll look for this to hold. It is breaking through. So then I think the price is going to take a little bit longer to turn around. We are extremely extended off of VWAP here as well, too, guys, on a lot of the big names. So, I mean, Amazon's there, but the Q's and the SPY off of VWAP, and same with NVDA. So that was a really, really nice trade that worked out. It's more of a slow burner, guys, and I refer to this thing as kind of like Apple. It trades like Apple. There's similarities just due to how large the float is and everything along those lines. So it was more of a slow grind, and you know, for my style, I'm more of a momentum guy. I have a time limit on when I should know the thesis should work, and if it doesn't, then I start second guessing myself. But there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I was heavy in size here. I got out of the trade. It would have pulled me back and stopped me out. So I collected a little bit, but then I missed the bulk of this move, which is slightly unfortunate, but that's okay. It's not the first time it's happened. It's definitely not the last time it's going to happen, Sharif. But we will most definitely catch some banger trades, because that's what we do. And we had a solid week last week, and we're going to look to continue that just kind of momentum, because we are rebounding. Amazon coming back below VWAP. Apple's been a hot mess today, Sharif, as the market is continuing to climb higher and higher. Apple is, as you would like to say, done bubkiss there. So yeah. So, but we got to Havana Woody. I seen your DMs. Gonna go over those, my guy, later on today. And then we got a $10 CMR. I'm not too familiar with what a CMR. Oh, that's your name. Sorry. So $10 super chat. Can AMD's short squeeze, or is there not enough float? Short float, I'm assuming you're referring to. I don't know if I have access to short float on AMD, but what we can do before we send it back to my guy is we can pull up the chain.
You want short float on AMD?
Yeah, can you find that for me? Yeah, all right. See, this is what you asked.
3.53.
3.5%. So yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call that short squeeze material, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about that on that front. But what we can do is we can obviously look at our options chain and see what we got going on from that front. I have not looked at AMD for a while, nor have I traded it. I told you guys a long time ago in the middle of the summer, I'm just not in sync with the stock, and then I essentially haven't looked back. So it is trading really well here, Sharif, up $93. But the thing is, this stock was dead for almost a year, and now it's starting to recover. That's a good sign, but that just shows you how long something can be out of play for, and AMD is a prime example. So what I'll do quickly is I'll go over some of the open interest here on the options chain to see what we got going on. What are we trading at? 113.40. 114, we don't see too much OI, but then when we run into 115, oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, no, it's not. Never. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay, yeah.
So what's interesting?
Yeah, so the closest expiration I have on AMD, Sharif, is April 17th.
Interesting.
Yeah, right? You know what I mean? So like I'm trying to find the weeklies. So if anybody can find the weeklies on the options chain, that would be fantastic. But as for OI, 115 is all I see right now, guys, and I can't find anything from a weekly standpoint. But I'm going to get right back into IBIT here, Shree.
All right, man. We're in 3 positions now.
Dang.
NAK, we're still holding on to that, waiting for a print to the high side here. VWAP is my trade on this one, but KDLY is the one we built the position into and off that topping tail. So I was able to pick up some at 250 there, but there is a seller of note in the low to mid 60s. I've been watching this while Joseph was giving us all that great information. I was able to watch the book a little bit closer here than I typically would, being able on the show, because obviously we've got to do other things. And there is a seller certainly worth of note. I so much so that I wasn't able to get anything at 65. It looks like the highest prints there went around to 63, 64 at the best. So my line in the sand here is the loss of VWAP. I do have a dip trade there to front run VWAP if it does dip into that level. The idea being, if my line in the sand is there, I might as well add some if I'm going to get out 2 pennies below that anyway in case it does bounce off that level. I'm keeping an eye on that. Let's let it cook. This one though, MGLO is starting to curl right back up to the high side over here. This could be a specialist breakout where they kind of just fool you to get back in. It had multiple bottoming tail candles into the 650 area. Let's see if this one wants to run. I do have my suspicions about this one, but we're going to give it a try. Why not? Where are we long? We're long at 16s or so. Let's go ahead and set up some beak wetters, and then I'll give this one to about 660 or so with the low end of that candle. Let's see if this one is able to print to the high side. There is a seller of note here at 20s, a big seller. We'll be able to see we'll see shortly whether we're able to take them out or not. There is the seller at 20, and they are rejecting us for now. There we go. We take them out to the high side. Let's see if we're able to go above that $0.25 as well. There's a seller at the $0.25. There seems to be sellers everywhere over here. Seller at the $0.25, unable to take them out. Big seller, there it goes. And now we take them all out, baby. So we're going to take out some more profits up here. Back to this one, NAK. We're doing well on that one. Okay, we got the pop-up on KDLY as well. We're not in the woods, though. So we did get the pop-up to take out that seller in the low 60s, but looks like they're putting their position right back in because we're putting another negative candle there. Back to MLGO. Sorry, I have to manage all of these trades now. We'll look to take out some more in the high 30s. We're long 16s or so, showing me 26s. Let's see if we can get something around 38s, 28s now. Wow, they're selling at literally every level. Hidden orders, an iceberg got almost every 2 or 3 pennies. There we go to the high side again. Boom to the high side on MLGO. Can we take out 40s? We're waiting for 40s. 36 is selling right there. You can see it. It's not moving. Not moving. There's barely any size posted on the book. Can't move though, so we'll let that one cook and we'll see what we get there. How many more shares do we have on that? I don't want to be holding too much of this one while I'm trading otherwise. MLGO, yeah, okay, we got some shares over here that I don't want to hold, so we'll get rid of that one. And then, yeah, I had more shares there than I thought. Eh? No, yeah, okay. I don't know. What? Sorry? Sorry, Neil. I have to concentrate. My bad, bro. Can I jump in? Yeah, of course. Feel free.
Oh, we're not ready?
Okay.
My bad.
Neil's jumping in one hot second there, but we'll keep talking until he is ready. I'm going to get out of the MLGO trade because it does look like it wants to lose that bid. I want to just concentrate on this one over here because I have way more shares on KDLY. What's up, Neil?
Well, I was trying to say no and then no and then. But the other thing I wanted to say was an observation on one of the small caps and also to drop a pun. Because it's not often I have good puns, so I'm letting you know I'm telegraphing it so that we can get the groans out of the way. I really do think Sharif has a knack for trading some of these small caps here. And speaking of this one in particular, can we come to my charts for a second?
Crazy.
No, and I was actually just saying in the chat there, I don't know how many times we're going to get this bounce off of VWAP in IBIT. Here is bouncing off this level. Like, NAC is giving you the same thing. Like, some of the stuff that we talk about on the big cap tech or just trading in general, like, you look at this small capper, 25 million shares, riding VWAP on the way up, holding it. You just have to maybe move the decimal point a little bit sometimes. Because how is this any different in a general sense? Breakout, pullback, and then scalp off of VWAP. It's exactly like IBIT, which I'm trading, is doing the exact same thing as NAC. And a lot of times, you know, you can take these patterns and it's like it's I don't want to say it's like fractal patterns are like on different time frames they work, but I think it's transferable is the best way to think about it. Like a lot of what you learn is transferable from one style to another. So I'm glad Sharif is all over these small cap runners. The other thing that's happening is, well, Intel's going to break low of the day and it's going to go red. That stock is a fail. And every day it's a short till it's not, and I will say that until it stops working, which will be the day that it rips my face off. Enjoy the rest of the midday, but just wanted to point that out. I pulled that chart up. I'm like, how is this exactly the same chart as IBIT right now, giving you the goods? Although somehow you managed to have it exactly at VWAP. Good entry.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that, Neil. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right, quickly over here, KDLY, we got that spike. We are getting higher lows, so I don't want to paper hand this trade. Each successive 5-minute candle, since the one that manifested at 11:30, so about 11 minutes worth of prints on the 5, is a little bit higher than its predecessor. I'm talking about KDLY. I've taken some prints out there in the 70s. We've got 53s on. I don't want to take out too much too quickly here. I perceive this one to be in control of the buyers. I can be wrong, okay? I've been wrong many times, but I perceive buyer control of the name as a result of the higher lows on the 5-minute chart. We'll see if that's accurate or whether I'm talking out of my rear end. So we're gonna watch there to see what we get. I'm also involved in Mara, got the beak wet there. This is a much smaller trade, so I'm less inclined to really want to focus on it, and I hate Mara. So 1408 is what we're showing right now on the ask. I'm waiting at 11s. Let's see if we get a spike up on this name. As Neil was mentioning about NAK, we did get the pop-up, thankfully, there in 19s, but it is back down into 17s, and what I'm perceiving now on the 5-minute, on NAK are lower highs. That is not my look. That is not what I want, but I have a price that keeps me a bit comfortable. Long at 14s, the break at 12s, and it's all over after that for me. I won't be taking any more DCAs. MLGO, exactly why I got out. This is exactly why, because now we have a double top and a lower high. Hard to see. Look at it losing the bid right there. So I want to show this on the black charts. So you have your initial crest there. You know that that's the area high. You drop down. You get a couple of bottoming tail candles. They make you feel good, right? Buyers are stepping in. Then what do we get? We get that lower high. And if we get a lower low below that 675, that's kind of be your tell there. So you get the lower high and the lower low on the 5. That is not what I want on MLGO. I'm going to keep my eye out on this one, see if we can get anything set up a little bit better, possibly at 5.5 where the volume weighted average price is. But right now we need to focus on KDLY as it is coming a little too close to my liking for my entry. So we're long 53s, and I was just sitting there waxing poetic about how this one was putting in higher lows. It still is, but it's really close to my entry, and I don't know how I feel about it. I still have this order over here, which is no longer valid in my humble submission, so we're going to get rid of that and get out of that position there. Mara, okay, here we go. Showing me 9s now, but the order is the size at 9 on the ask at 9 is getting taken out. It was a lot larger last time I was looking at this one. We'll have to see if 10s can get taken out with the same vigor. Otherwise, we're going to get out of this one. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good luck there, guys. We're starting to climb higher here in IBIT. I don't want to chase it, but I do like some potential bottoming signals here in Google, guys. Don't want to chase it either, so I'll wait for a retest of those specific levels, but you can see that indecision print here on GOOGL. But yeah, broke it to the top side here now, guys, so a really nice trade if you're playing the crack of that. But we're still climbing here in IBIT, so I'm waiting for a pullback to look if I can join in this strength here in this underlying asset. We are running into some resistance zones, so that's going to be a positive sign as well here too, guys. So yeah, I'm not going to chase anything right now, but we do have 2 potential setups that we are really eyeing and focusing on. So if we hold 50.05, then I think that we can continue to go here, but don't want to chase it up at these levels. Wait for those pullbacks, wait for the retest of those levels, and then we can join and continue in this strength here. So because I believe that I'm in sync with it somewhat, even though we were off on the earlier trades, That's fine. But the market is starting to pull in. NVDA looking like it wants to climb back towards the volume-weighted average price. The Qs and the SPY as well there too, guys. So just be aware what might happen. We might get into some pullback territory. But one thing to note, and it's positive sign here, guys, is that you can see on this pullback volume, it's starting to dwindle, right? So you can see the relative strength within us moving to the top side, northeast here. But then on each individual pullback, you're going to see that dwindling volume, and that's a positive sign, and that's what I have for our updated VPA lesson coming up tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to that. Just some examples of actual charting and not just exactly diagrams or anything that I've drawn personally. So yeah, nice spot on what Google says, Gaurav. Yeah, we're going to wait here, my friend. I don't know how much we're going to climb. We're still positive on the session, up about 1.7%, so that's a good look there on that name. But yeah, just the climb here in IBIT slowly getting to me here, but that's okay. A nice trade. If we got in at 50s, then we would have been continuously climbing, pullback on lower volume, and then you just continue here in strength. So I'll wait for this to either reject, or if we want to sit on top of this range and that strength really steps in, then I think we'll be okay. But Google really starting to get the ball rolling here as well too, Gaurav. So good look there on Google. Like that signal. Now the risk profile isn't necessary for me, so we'll wait for a retest around 166.70, hold that level, and then we're going to go for that rebound because I do believe that the market is strong today, guys. If there's strong. You take my strong hand. Remember,
you ever watch Tyrone Biggums?
Yeah, of course.
Remember, he's that Joe Rogan's doing that Fear Factor in the Chappelle show, and then Tyrone Biggums, well, he's all cracked up, so he doesn't really feel much in his legs, right? But he's he goes on the hot coal. He's like, my feet are strong.
Have you ever seen the Scary Movies?
No.
The one where they're in the haunted house. He's like, take my strong hand. Take my strong hand.
So good.
And they're like, no.
Oh, man, I got to rewatch those. Those are classic. Those are
dude. Yeah, those are good stuff there.
I like how you know them, though, because you didn't know Seinfeld. So
I don't know. I think Seinfeld's a little out of my date, though. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
Bro, Seinfeld was on, but it's kind of timeless though, no?
It's a cult classic.
Well, there you go, right?
So yeah.
I think you have to be a little bit more niche to Chappelle's show. I don't think everybody was in Chappelle's show. So I know it was in Comedy Central in the States. It was a Comedy Network here, but you had to have the right channel. It couldn't just be network television.
I don't even want to say, just some of Chappelle's characters, I don't even want to say some of the names, but they're absolutely hilarious.
They're insane. There's too many, and they're not PG.
Yeah,
at all.
Whatsoever.
Some of the best ones that I can't even talk about them on the show,
exactly.
Right?
You know the best ones that we're probably referring to the same guy.
Yes. Yeah. The dude who doesn't know who he is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. The blind guy. The blind guy, right?
The blind guy. Anybody who watches Chappelle's show knows exactly what Joseph and I are talking about.
But yeah.
No soup for Joe, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I think he cares, bro.
So, we're going to send it off to Adair here, guys. Sir. Bitcoin really climbing higher, so that would have been a nice one.
Nice.
Keep an eye here on Qualcomm and Broadcom. We do have China here, of course, Qualcomm and their CEO Cristiano Amon, whereas one of the companies at this China Development Forum, China reportedly telling Qualcomm that its big market has the potential to help the company grow. Broadcom dropping a little bit on this news. Of course, they are competitors in the same semiconductor space, while QCOM, here, of course, the company being told that China can help them grow, actually not doing too much. So AVGO actually more moving in antipathy on this catalyst than Qualcomm is here, guys. Back to you.
We're just dying back here, bro. Joseph, MLGO is absolutely on one. I was wrong about this one. I perceived us to be putting in lower highs, so I did punch back in at 727, and I was able to scalp to 760. But this looks like a really, really bad trade. Number one, because it is. Look at it. Look at it go. 811 high a day. The rounded bottom was obvious, but I thought it was going to be a lower high, okay? That's genuinely what I thought. That's why I punched out of it. I'm talking about MLGO in case you're wondering what rounded bottom I'm talking about. Let's show the black charts a little bit better or a little bit easier to see on this one. We dropped down off that double top at 8. To be fair, you get a couple of hammer candles, which we know are bullish signs, especially with the closing print of those hammer candles above the 10 exponential. So you know buyers were earmarking that 10 exponential as a possible support level. You got it, but you got it with bamboozlement because the wicks do break break below that. But when we printed this candle here, and then I'm like, okay, well, this candle has a lower high than the previous candle. If we give up that, I was certain we were going to give up that lower low as well. I was wrong. And so once this one made the first candle to make a new high, I punched in, and it's still going 824 high a day. MLGO now is up 226%. This is the #1 gapper in the market. Shout out to Tisha Perkins. I know Tisha's been buying the dips on this. We're spending the money for Tisha. Excellent trade on this, especially where we were just about 10 minutes ago, 650 or $2 higher on an $8 name. That is a fantastic look right now on MLDangGO. So I don't have anything left on that one. We'll look to do a little bit better, possibly into 8. I took a print over here, though, on Mara at 11s. I'm long 14s. That's it? Oh, wow, okay. I only had a couple of outs there on Mara, so we kind of paper hand that trade. Got out of KDLY a long time ago, as I felt this one was going to lose the bid, and it did. It is below VWAP now on KDLY. The only thing that I could say positive currently about KDLY, aside from the fact that it's up 55%, is even though it's below VWAP, which is showing me 242, 241, look at this area, previous area resistance over here at 2 1/3, 2 1/4. That's the initial bull flag. We drop down, we hold 2. We end up clearing that 2 1/3 like no problem. So despite the fact this is below VWAP, and I have a rule of not trading these below VWAP, and I won't. I want to show you, though, that there is support at 230. Given this was an area of previous resistance. Let's see if it holds. It's got a double bottom right now at 230 on the 5-minute chart. Wick into 230, another wick into 230 there. We'll see what we get with this one. BBAI is not to be disrespected, though. I don't have anything on it, nor have I even tried to get in, but it's at the day's highs right now. And this is a beautiful looking bull flag, man. I mean, it looked like the volume really started to come in at 11. This looks like a buy program to me here, where for whatever reason, right at 11 o'clock, a buy program got turned on because it was quite directional and closing out at the highs of almost every candle, not really giving anything back on the 5-minute chart. But you could tell that buy program got turned off for a little bit now because the volume is declining, and then we're getting this kind of sideways consolidation, which looks like a bull flag. The range of this consolidation area, 338 to the low side, 345 to the high side on Big Bear AI. Good look. We'll keep tabs on this one. Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, my guy. Yeah, so nice rejection here on IBIT of that resistance level we were referring to earlier. But I decided to hop in some Google on this pullback. I'm starting really small here, guys. Just a little bit of a beak wetter, or I guess a starter position here on that front, because I got to give it to 1660. So that's when the thesis is invalid. So that's what I'm looking for. Just a nice continuous climb here. We do have those indecision prints. The market is strong, and I believe that Google is somewhat lagging, but a nice look. I do believe that we can continue to climb higher, and if we crack VWAP and some of this downtrend price action, then I'm going to add to the position for sure. But we're just starting off really, really small there, guys, just because I'll show you, I'll go over my IBIT trades here once again. So that one worked out. We entered at the break of VWAP here, waited for the pullback, and then we just like tripled the size and then went, but then we got stopped out the majority of it right here, but that's okay. But yeah, it's these ones, guys, that I was referring to. So we started, and then as we were working, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to play the crack of 48.50, and then we would have started taking some out, came back. But see, the thing is, one thing I want to know, and I was just talking to myself and just thinking, brainstorming in my head, and it's like, where did I go wrong? And I talk about this all the time here, guys, is that look where my stop is now, because that I'm adding into my risk profile. I need to raise my stop loss, but what it should be and where I'm actually wrong is at the break of this support level here. But just due to the fact that I was adding size, I had to lift it, and then that's why I got stopped out. So I'm not overly frustrated about it. Like I told you guys, this would have been a really, really nice trade here if it did work out, just due to how much I was trying to size in. But yeah, it didn't work out. It's part of the game. But here with Google starting to cook up here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I don't have the cooking animation, but here we go. Let's see if we can break through VWAP and then hold. You can see that we have this downtrend here as well, guys. So we need to crack through this in order for us to continue to climb higher. I know that's not necessarily the best one. You want to go from here to necessarily here. So yeah, going to be patient. The market is starting to recover. We're going to test the high day. We didn't get quite to VWAP here on this pullback, but you can see that the Qs are climbing higher once again. The SPY is climbing higher. One thing to take note, as I just do some TA and think out loud, you can see that this nice strong candle, but there's no effort here, all right? So that's one thing that we'll be going over in our VPA lesson as well too, is just the effort and result factor. So you can see that with a nice big strong candle that we have here, we have nice strong volume. This candle is relatively strong, but the volume isn't quite picking up right there. So that's where you can see the effort and then the result in that. So that can be like, hey, that's a little bit fugazi or falsifying, and we might pull back. That could be a signal that we're not ready to punch through that high day unless that volume starts to stair step higher, and then we break through those levels. And that's what you want to see, is that momentum and that volume really start to kick in when you go to crack through key resistance levels. All right, guys, so I'm going to add a little bit here to my Google position. Nothing crazy, but I'm looking for this crack, and then maybe we get this retest of 167.18, 67.20, we'll call it flat, because we do have a key support level. And I think that's where we're going to run into some possible resistance. And if we do so, we'll take some of the position off. And if we go mid-range, that's a bonus on the trade, Sharif.
See your friend Donald? He's gonna slap tariffs on Trump to impose 25% tariffs on countries that buy oil or gas from Venezuela.
Okay.
All the while increasing or extending, I should say, the license for Chevron to drill in Venezuela so that he can bring prices down for America. But if you're going to buy from them, well, then you're a bad boy.
You're bad, yeah.
Come on, Donald.
Come on, Donald.
Come on, bro.
Hit the Donald dance.
I was looking. The reason I'm even talking about that is because oil's up 1 1/3, man. We're almost back into that $70 area on the barrel. 69.17. We were down to like 65 something. But you wouldn't, you wouldn't really know that looking at gas anyway around here, because the gas price is still low. Wow, MLGO is breaking out, guys. This is a monster move right now on MLGO. This is up 269%. We just took out $9. We're at $9.35, the high of the day. I got out of this almost $2 ago. And that was like about 5 seconds ago. No, I'm kidding, of course, but it makes you feel awfully silly with these small cap gappers, because they can really get on one right now. And this one is on one. 948 now, high a day. It keeps printing a new high day, 272%. Great strength on MLGO. Be careful, because the bottom can drop off. This is a former runner. And the way to know it's a former runner is super easy. You just pull up the stock on the daily, and then just have a look at the daily. And then if you have these outsized days, just like this, like you're seeing over here, big spike up, down, spike up, down. And even these ones over here that look to be a little bit smaller because they're compared to these bigger ones, you can just tell this is a former runner. That's how it lives its life, 10, 15 pennies at a time, and it pops up, and then usually the next day it is down. So, and the reason I say that is because I heard the Katina men talking about RGC today. And I know that RGC was a single digit stock about maybe 2 weeks ago. It's like $50 today, down 20%. I know somebody in the chat had a monster winner on it. I think they were in at 5, and last week we were talking, they were at $50 or something. That is not most people's stories, sadly. Most people that will bag hold these small cap gappers will be made to pay. There's going to be ones like the individual from last week, and more happy for them I could not be, but that is not the statistical probability with these small cap gappers. So make sure you are trading them accordingly, and you're trading them using sound risk management. So super easy to know if something's a former runner. Just look on the daily and look for these outsized prints that seem to retrace quick as you like on the way back down. So MLGO, micro pullback right now, dipped into 9, but here we go again, back into the 9 1/3. Keep your eye when we have these micro pullbacks. One thing I really want to stress is when we're trying to push back up after that micro pullback, keep your eye for any new size that could have been posted on a price level that wasn't previously there. So for example, say we were trading around 915 and we were zigging and zagging between 905 and 925. And I saw a seller with 250 lots at 925. Then we break through that 925 level. We go to 950. I want to see if that seller came back to that 925 level with similar or even bigger size this time. It seems to be the case when, they get pushed out one time, they'll try their hand again on the micro pullback to see if the stock is ready to come down. So keep your eye on the certain price levels that have a certain amount of size, larger than average wattage there on the level, to see if it comes back in once you've cleared it, but then dropped back below it. A little bit of advice there for the small cap gapper trading. Speaking of small cap gappers, Caps is basically giving up the ghost here. It lost VWAP, Joseph. It lost $3. This is local area lows. I mean, there was a consolidation area here at around $3, but that's since come and gone. It's dropping into that 279. I don't have my Unity, but I did hear Adara was ready for the lesson of the day. So we're going to weasel on over to her, and then I believe Neil does have his lesson.
Neil's got his lesson. Go.
Markets nicely to the upside, really, to summarize things here. S&P 500, great look, up about 1.75%, near day's highs. NASDAQ, a little bit more removed here from day's highs than the S&P 500. A little bit hard to see in this chart. We had a bit of a double top on this 15-minute chart. That being said, still up about 1.9%. We did have a little bit of tariff talk, initially pushing the market to the upside, and some reports that there's going to be some more measured tariffs here coming from Donald Trump with regards to the reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. Then around 10:50, just about, I guess, an hour ago now, Donald Trump did post on Truth Social that he's going to be adding some tariffs here for Venezuela on April 2nd. So some tariff additions. We do also have, and these were not previously on the economic calendar as of this morning, we've got 2 speaking engagements from Donald Trump this afternoon. First at 2 p.m., Trump and the governor of Louisiana are going to be speaking together. Then Trump will be speaking at 3 p.m. at a Greek independence celebration. So 2 Donald Trump speeches. One name that is really not moving with the market, quite weaker actually, here is going to be Super Microcomputer, SMCI. I saw some people in the chat talking about this. I did not see a catalyst for this move, but it's worth noting. We had a bit of a pullback in quite a few semiconductor names. Broadcom would be a really good example. And Broadcom looking almost identical to SMCI. Basically what happened here was the China Minister of Commerce here said that Qualcomm could really benefit from China with regards to its size of the market. So a lot of semiconductor names that were not Qualcomm dropped in response to this catalyst, but Qualcomm also dropped. With Supermicro, the relative weakness also might have something to do with the fact that they have about a decent shortfall, and they also got a downgrade this morning from Goldman Sachs, so SMCI relatively weak. Then we have some names here continuing strong. This is FDX, day 2 earnings play, pushing nicely to the upside near day's highs, and even some names that were weaker to start the session have recovered pretty nicely. Here is NFLX, nicely off of its lows here. So a lot of tickers here are pushing to the upside. Take note of ones that are not really moving with the market. Keep an eye here on this Fed speak. It's going to start around 1:45 with comments from Fed's Bostic, and then of course 2 comments from Donald Trump. But without further ado, we'll get some comments from Neil with his always engaging lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. And the lesson of the day here is, I mean, sometimes the train leaves the station and it just gets out of hand. You would have seen this morning, if you watched the morning show, Tesla didn't really even try to fill in that gap. There was that crazy wick. There was a really only chance to get in if you weren't taking breakout, if you weren't taking that bottom wick for re-entry point. It just never felt like too much of a chase. There was Palantir was the other one that we liked, and spoiler alert, I did eventually get into Palantir, but missed the train early on that as well. Well, sometimes that'll happen to you, and all you can do is sort of back off, and everything's going crazy. You have to try not to get that FOMO, because the first thing I got into was a keystroke on SMCI for a loss. That ended up not being any good even when I got back in. It's like, oh man, the thing that we're shorting, we lose twice on it and it goes down. QBTS was a potential runner. It started to go, then it lost prior support. So you're 0 for 2. What are you going to do? And it's just about being patient. I showed you what happened on Palantir. We eventually got back into that and saw that one rally, but we had to wait till after 10 o'clock, which is fine. And then we waited around for IBIT to come into play. And this is the thing, it's easy to get FOMO earlier on in the day. Missing out on big trades, or like the first thing you should take, reasonable loss, stop out at your level, took some profits. They're not big, but you can still get that FOMO and over trade without waiting for the right setups. But if you just waited for it, IBIT didn't break out until, again, after 10 o'clock, and then just starts giving us the VWAP trade over and over again, right off that 50 level. you don't have to look too far on a volatile day where there's a bunch of FOMO to look for other opportunities. Like on a day where nothing is going except for the one thing you were looking at, like if Tesla was the only thing moving today, oh my goodness, of course, it's going to be a little bit trickier. But on a day like today where the market's gapping up and there's so much to look at, when you miss on one or two, you shouldn't have to look too far left or right on your list to be able to find really high quality setups that fit your bill. And it wasn't just IBIT back and forth. I know I saw Joe looking at this one as well. Didn't have to look too far to find relative strength and weakness when there was so much strength in the market. Well, weakness was going to stick out like a sore thumb. I know we sound like a broken record when it comes to this, but what was Intel telling us? And again, did not trade this one till well after 10 o'clock, missed the 10 o'clock entry, fail the high, fail VWAP, lower high, breaking lows while the market is strong. Now, we might get a chance to work back into this one off of VWAP again, but it comes down to do not stress out. If you are not in something or you don't have some crazy winner on a high volatility day in the first 5 or 10 minutes, that's fine. There's always going to be a play that you can make on the other end of it. Another example of finding relative weakness would be, I know Sean was shorting Apple, is look at Apple. If you were just not willing to chase the move to the upside, well, find something which is failing the highs. Apple, like Intel failed the high, and then after that showed you resistance right here at the 220.5, the pre-market high, just over and over and over again. It just gives you that short trade for about $1 to $1.50. All it requires is for you to go back to your basics, not even rush it, because you could, again, had this trade at what time? 10 o'clock, and then it gives it to you again at 11. So this is what we're always trying to do as a trader. If you're in something, great, and the first idea that you have is going and no problems. But if it's not, remember to go back to your first principles. What are the setups that you like that are still giving you entries? IBIT was a great example. Liked it long, didn't get the long we wanted. Join the trend where we could. Palantir, missed the first trade, join the trend where you can. Tesla didn't get it anywhere. Okay, let's flip into something else that is setting up, like the Intel short, or maybe you try that Apple short. There are so many places that you can go on a day like today, especially after that first 15 minutes or 20 minutes might not go the way that you were planning it out. And the other thing that you can do here, and don't get me wrong, like I'm giving you all of the things that I pivoted to eventually make money instead of the Tesla long. You can also find yourself maybe looking for more aggressive entries into something like a Tesla if you wanted. Like I found myself unwilling to compromise on the long in Tesla, but there were spots like the 10 o'clock dip, like I keep referencing 10 o'clock, that opening range. The 10 o'clock dip showed you support, that's 266.5, then a higher low right back in here. So there was a long in the 67 range where you could have just said, you know what, if I can't get in at VWAP, maybe I can try to get in with a tight stop to that $0.50 and then long just above the dollar. That's an option as well. Because if there hadn't have been those other opportunities that presented themselves along more, let's say, playbook fashion, you can also just jump into the trend on the strongest thing with a bit of a tighter stop so you have a chance to participate in the party that has been Tesla. Long and short of it is, on days where like everything was gapping up, the percentages are high, when you miss those crazy, crazy runners, it's really easy to get that FOMO. And if you can't find yourself into them, you do have to show patience. Look for a normal setup that fits your bill, and if you get it, smash it. If you don't be afraid to back off. The other thing that you can do, and the second part of this is, well, when everything is running that way, find the relative weakness somewhere because you don't want to be stuck there. Well, the only thing I can do is short the tops if that's all there is. There should be something weak out there that you can find. Apple was an example. Intel was an example. And then go work shorts in those. Because if the market is super strong, I promise you there's something relatively weak if you don't want to buy tops. There's always something to do when the market goes, or when a lot of things go rocket at the open and you miss that runaway freight train. What you don't have to do is completely abandon your risk to reward or your playbook setups just because you missed that early move. I'm sure lots of people missed Tesla today. Hopefully not too many, because I can tell you it's been an absolute beast. And even when it happens, There's always a trade to be had, as long as you're calm, as long as you're patient, and as long as you know what it is that you're looking for. That's your lesson of the day, and good luck, everybody. We'll see you at 2.
Wiser words were never spoken. Well, maybe they were. I have no idea. But that was quite wise in and of itself. Thank you very much, Neil Roberts. Every day around that noon hour, he drops Neilage. A play on words for knowledge. Neil's lesson of the day. Thank you very much, guys. As Neil was dropping the lesson of the day, this certainly didn't drop. I'm talking about MLGO, yet another high of the day, 979, now pulling back into that 9 1/3. This thing is on one, and by on one I mean it's rocketing up. It's up 267%, was up a little bit higher at the highs. Let's see if it can breach that $10 area. Every time you think that this one is about to turn and kind of pull back into a moving average, into VWAP, which is now at $6, about $3.50 away from lower than where we're currently trading, it keeps making new highs. So, short this one, obviously, at your own risk, but trade it to the long side as well with certain caution, because we know what the story is like with these small cap gappers. Please, if you're a newer small cap gapper trader, be quite judicious with how you get in and how much size you're taking and where you're expecting these profits to come in. All right, I'm in a new trade right now. It goes by the ticker RAY, like Ray Charles, baby. So we're long Ray Charles over here. And actually did, so this is, this one has a little bit of illiquidity because we should have got printed up at 73. It did cross 73, but we didn't get the print. That usually means, well, the bid and the ask probably had a wide spread at that level, or there was just no shares for me to get printed. There we go, back up into 73, and we don't get the print again. So it looks like we are not first in priority here, or even second. Let's see if we can get a move up. I'm waiting at 73s and 77s, and then we'll see if we can get back into that 91 high of the day. The reason I got in where I got in, that was a 10 exponential pullback after a topping tail candle into 191. Ray Charles is up 50.82%, and here are the details on it. $30 million market cap, 2.3 million shares trade on the day with a 3.1 million share float. Let's find out what the short float is, if any. Trade idea says Bupkis, 0.4%, so not much in the way of a short float here to help push things along, but it's got a smaller float in general, so that could usually help things out. So I'm keeping my eye here on Ray Charles. I am disappointed with NAK. It is now 1 penny below my out, anything below 12, and that's the end of the matter for me. We wet the beak a little bit up here, but I'm still holding the majority of the position, full disclosure. So we'll see what we get there, and we will not get upset. Did we get the print? Yes, we did get the print on Ray Charles. So now let me set up at 82. So number one, we need to get the 77 print before we're talking about the 82 print. But I do like the fact that it is holding up for the moment above that 10 exponential. It has a wide range per candle. That means, if you're charting on the 5, the range per candle of each 5-minute candle is a little wide relative to the price. So we'll see if we can get some continuity to the high side. As I tell you about that, let me remind you about this one. Here it comes again. We're about to hit 300% here on MLGO. 79 is the high of the day. We're showing 65s, 70s. Here we go. We're attempting another break of the high of the day. Let's see if we can see it in real time, see if there's size at that 79 penny level. We're showing 74s. So absolutely amazing strength and continuity on MLGO. Just when you thought this one was going to turn back around, it makes you rethink. And there it goes again, Joseph. Now it is no longer the high of the day, 79. It's 89s. We're working into that $10 area. This one is a rocket ship. MLDANGGO.
Dang. Oh.
How's it going over there, Katina, man? No. How was the swim? It was good? Katina man is back from the swim sesh, and he's feeling good.
He's feeling
smelling chlorine. I like that.
Chlorine. Yeah, I love this good fresh, good
it
smell
is.
of chlorine,
it's
man. It's his new fragrance. Yeah, it's the new fragrance.
It's his new cologne.
Yeah.
Post swim chlorine.
Yeah, kind of swim for a minute is what it's called.
Get it, Katina man.
Yeah, guys. So I got a good question in the chat here from Lewis Edwards. Sorry, I'm just hyper-focusing on this Google trade. We took some off here, guys, but now we're starting to pull back, so I'm looking for this to hold. That volume really did step in here, so that's a positive sign as well, too, guys. But if we crack VWAP, then I have to get out of the trade break even, right? So that's just how it works. So Lewis, I was in the money. I'm assuming you're saying with MLGO and got out at 5, thinking that was the max. If a stock keeps going up like this and you got out, what is your advice? Just accept the fact that you got out. You got out for a reason, and I think that's really, really key. Is that when you are getting out of trades, just always ask yourself really quickly, am I going to accept the fact that I'm taking some of this percentage off? And am I going to accept the fact that if I get all out of the trade, it can continue to climb higher? It's just how it goes. I'll show you my examples on IBIT here as well too. Took some out there, and I talked about it a lot today, but it's just I have to accept this fact, right? My thesis was super correct, but my timing wasn't necessarily there, and then moments later it worked out. So if I had the ability to hold on to these for a couple more seconds, then like I said, that would have been a really, really good trade for me, but I just have to accept the fact that it didn't, and then you just move on, and as Obi often says, what is the next trade, and look for that next trade. It's either you've made a little bit of money, or you've lost a little bit of money, possibly, right? So just stay level-headed, accept the fact that, hey, it moved on without you, and just look for that next opportunity because they will be there. And someone taught me this as well. So there's really only 4 outcomes, and if you have the ability to live with this, then I think you'll be okay. It's either you're going to break even, it's either you're going to win a little bit, you're going to win a lot, or you're going to lose a little bit, and you're going to lose a lot. So if you can accept that, and I remember John Jones said this to me when he was about to fight. I think it was Thiago Santos or somebody along those lines, or no, it might have been Rampage. He's like, I couldn't sleep. But one thing that he had to do was just accept the fact of the worst case scenario, and then you'll be able to live okay. And he's like, the worst case scenario against me, against Rampage Jackson, is that I can get knocked out. And then that's it. If you can live with that fact, then you'll be okay. So yeah, that's just
really
my thought. Yeah. So if you can live with that fact of the worst case scenario, then you'll be okay. And that's just what you got to do with trading. It is a psychological game. Let's see if we can continue to climb. Do we add here, Sharif? I don't know.
What happened?
I'm slightly tempted to add a little bit here, but the thing is that we got to look that we're constructing these lower highs. But if the volume really steps in like it did right here, guys, then I think there's a chance that we crack through 167.15 and then continue to climb higher. And if we break this downtrend to the top side, I think I'm going to add a little bit of shares here to this position, Sharif.
Nimit, my man Nimit, back in the chat. Shout out to Singapore. Stop buying those NVIDIA chips and sending them to China, bro. I know it's you, Nimit. All right, let's, no, I'm kidding, of course. Let's have a look at what was the ticker you wanted? IMTE, excuse me. I think I had this one up earlier. I did, yes. It's up 105%, which is respectable. But you know my rules, Nimit. And this one has a very early 4 a.m. or 4:05. Is it 4? 4:05 a.m., excuse me, print into that 165. That's a high of the day. In addition to that, if that was too lofty, or you're saying maybe that's 4 a.m. on low volume, look at this one. 7 a.m. print, high of day, 149. We didn't print above that in the opening bell range, and we're not above that now. So this one is on my crap list because it's trading below the volume weighted average price, and it is below the pre-market high. That pre-market high is 165. As you can see in a minute, I've got my alert at that $1.50. If this one gets above that $1.50, I'm all ears. But until that time, I will not trade the small cap gappers that had a definable pre-market high, you guessed it, in the pre-market, and then fail to take that pre-market high subsequent to the opening bell. It presents all sorts of trouble for the longs, not necessarily the shorts, for the longs. Typically, you have bag holders that are there in the pre-market at that elevated level that try to get the hell out of there, or the algos are using that to their advantage and they're shorting it to no end. For whatever the reason is, my observations and my experiences with these small cap gappers is trading the ones that have a pre-market high that hasn't been breached subsequent to the bell is a recipe for disaster. It has bamboozled me several times, and I don't want to be bamboozled anymore. So that's a look there. Now, I'm involved in RAY, as I mentioned. This one is trying to hold the 10 exponential. The area where I'm looking for the print is 77s. It's weaseled up to 76 many times. Hasn't crossed, though, into that 77, so I'm waiting at 77s and then 82s. Let's see what comes of this one. RAY, it's about 52%. My only complaint about RAY is the lackluster volume, and that's exactly what it is right now. It's a dollar name. It's only done 2 2/3 million shares on the day. That's just not enough. So, hopefully we won't get into too much trouble. I have a very tight stop below my entry. Let's see if it can hold up above that price. Mara curling back off that 14.25. We took this bad boy long at 14 with the beak there into the 20 or the mid-teens. It's coming back a little bit now. Let's see what it does at 14 though. 14 was the top end of what I perceive to be the bull flag range. It's also the whole dollar. So let's see if it can come back into 14 and maybe give us something to buy at that time. But this one is waiting for no man, woman, or alien, or whatever the hell else you are. This is absolutely going to the high side, man. MLGO is a rocket ship. Every time I look at this thing, it's got a new high a day. It doesn't have a red candle since 11:20. That's an hour on my 5-minute chart with no red candles. That's insane. And we traded it like this. I mean, it makes me feel so bad about myself having traded it like that. But how the hell am I supposed to know? So MLGO, guys, up now 313%. Maybe we get our first quadruple-digit winner of the year. I think we're still without a quadruple-digit winner. I could be wrong. North of that dollar, that is. Maybe south of that dollar, it was a little different, but I don't live in that world, Joseph. So we'll see what we get here. 1050, essentially the high of the day, 1046 or so on MLGO.
Hey, good look there, my friend. So yeah, a lot of people talking about the quantum space here this morning. I popped out of Google. We'll go over that in a brief second. But let's see what these guys are up to. Starting to pull back in here as well. I was very close to just buying this thing for the crack of that high, but I'm like, let me be more patient. I'm happy with my positioning. Even though my out on Tesla is not looking too good right now, I did rotate into some good names like Hood is starting to recover really well here as well too, guys, which I also allocated some of that. Let's see what RGTI is up to. So slightly lagging QBTS, and that's fine. We'll take a look at it from a daily standpoint. Are we ready to grab some here? Not just yet, in my opinion, but we will be patient. We have a couple nice trends that we can abide by. Okay, yeah, we'll go to Adara. Just 1 second. And yeah, so we'll see. Price slowly starting to compress. If we crack through this, then maybe we can continue to climb a little bit higher in this quantum space. But let's see what Adara's up to.
It's worth noting here, we do have some comments coming through from Donald Trump, not super market moving, but they are about the market and some certain market-related catalysts, so worth going through. Donald Trump did say here that apparently companies are all coming back to the U.S. They're seeing investment numbers beyond expectations. We do know that Donald Trump has really prioritized U.S. investment early in his second term. And he also said here that the CHIPS Act was a disaster. So Intel actually making a slightly higher low on this, but Donald Trump once again criticizing the CHIPS Act. Also keep an eye on TSLA. This might have been from earlier today, but I'm seeing circulate right now on X. Piper Sandler maintaining its overweight rating and $450 price target, saying that the angst around, that's their word, angst around the company's brand identity or damage has been overdone. So Piper Sandler with a positive note on TSLA. Circulating now, though, again, could have been from earlier today, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that, Adara. We'll hit you there for you. Yeah, guys. So let's see why I got out. I was this close to adding. I was just referring it to you guys, but then I seen the volume really start to step in, and then we opened up at the lower end of that range. So I'm really glad I punched out there, just following the instincts, and then you can see the momentum just continue to the downside. So that is the look there on Google. We'll still look for this thing to bounce. Maybe we get a little bit more closer to this pivot point, this pivot candle that we had. So if we break 166.80, I'll look for the continuation. Or if we hold this base that we're currently forming right now, there could be a potential long in there too, guys. But Amazon working out really well. Happy about that one. When I seen the gap up, I'm like, yes, let's go those calls. But yeah, here we go. 202.31 and change, up 3%. But you can see from a daily standpoint, and I'll refer to this here. So this is what I was building the thesis off. And it's funny because S4 was right here on the monthly, guys. And then you had all this buying pressure. And I'm like, all right, let me get in the middle of the range because then my risk profile is significantly tighter. And then there you go. I just construct the spread and then now climbing higher and higher. I think 210s is in the works. So I'm going to add a couple contracts here that are further dated out. But they are slightly pricey. So I have to be really precise and hold on to that position for the continuation just in case we we get somewhat of a pullback in between point A and point B, then I have to be willing to withstand it. We got the stops in place, everything along those lines. One thing that I was also looking to do, because I've told you guys I'm running a ratio spread, is that I can just, instead of adding more contracts, I can just buy back some of the short contracts that I have, and those are my options that I'm going to be examining slightly later. But yeah, Gore, a really nice call here from an intraday standpoint on Amazon. It's strong. You want to stick with these strong names. You can see that we gapped up, now sitting on top of a resistance zone and continuing that movement. And when it, referring to the Camarilla pivots, it was sitting on top of R4, and that is breakout range, and that's what happened here earlier in the day on AMZ. And looking at Google, and one thing that I want to note as well is that you can see that it's not as strong as the rest of its peers. So Apple is not trading very well, but you have the likes of NVDA, Tesla, and Amazon trading well, but then you have this sideways and just really indecisive price action on Google. And sure enough, you kind of got to expect that as well. If something's not working very well, expect it not to just randomly start. If something is working well, look for the continuation in that strength. But let's see what Adair is up to, guys.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool, because our friends from Trade the Pool are back to Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your terms. Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee, and your profits are unlimited. So head to tradethepool.com and start trading now. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Joseph, interesting stuff over here. You know about 23andMe? Like that DNA test that supposedly shows you your heritage and stuff like that?
Like the family tree.
You know, they're hanging on for dear life, right? Like they're about to go bankrupt. And I don't like to say that happily or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But a lot of people did send in their genetic information. And that genetic information becomes the ownership of the company. There is some states that kind of change that legislation a little bit where you own it and you can ask them to delete it, but not all states. Yeah, do your thing there. Which is interesting.
Whoa, what just happened there?
Because, what happened? What happened?
The market just tanked.
The market just tanked, eh? Okay. We'll talk about this one a little bit after now. Let's find out what the hell is going on over here. I'm just looking at my blotter, make sure everything is all good. Nothing coming in quite yet from my side. I know, Adair, just let me, because I can't hear if your call up. You're nothing yet. Adair doesn't have anything yet, guys. So we'll keep you guys apprised of that if we get any information about the SPY, the NQ, or otherwise. I've got my my news blotter here, not showing me anything quite yet. Adair's also got her eyes there at the big desk. So I'll just cover my trade. Okay, looks like she's got something. So we are sending it to Adair.
We have comments coming from Donald Trump. I am unsure as to where he's speaking. We talk about this a lot. He will make a lot of comments, and it's unclear necessarily where he's coming from. But regardless, Donald Trump making some comments right now saying, quote, "We will be announcing cars and pharma." I'm guessing that has to do with tariffs. So keep an eye on the market as a general. Pulling back on this cars and pharma tariff announcement, also always worth keeping an eye on, specifically the sectors that he mentioned for tariffs, like cars and pharma. So keep an eye on GM, keep an eye on Ford, Eli Lilly, Moderna, Pfizer, anything that could move with regards to this mention. And this is pretty new. I'm not even seeing this through an X. The only thing I'm seeing this is on financial juice. So these comments coming through from Trump, moving the market, but not super widely circulated as of what I'm seeing. Now we're seeing it come through an X, guys. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Yeah, so back to this 23andMe story. So basically, some state attorney generals are basically asking you to contact the company directly, ask that the company delete your genetic information, because in a bankruptcy proceeding, you don't know who's going to be the purchaser of that IP, right? And you don't want it falling into wrong hands. I personally don't, right? So if that is you there and you did send in your genetic information to 23andMe, go ahead and possibly do that if that's important to you. So I know that the what's it called? The state attorney general in California was basically saying the same thing. So in an open letter to customers, 23andMe said that there will be no changes to how it stores, manages, and protects customer data. It will be required to comply with all applicable laws with respect to the treatment of customer data. The company went on to say, and I saw some of you guys in the chat saying, didn't Google buy 23andMe? No, I don't think that is the case. Otherwise, they wouldn't be going through bankruptcy proceedings, which they currently are. So obviously not anything to celebrate when a company goes bankrupt like this, but yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know if that is you there, maybe you want to have that genetic information taken off. And we all know, especially with what do they call this, genetic genealogy, where you're if you send in your information to say 23andMe, and then your cousin commits an offense, and they have his DNA, but they don't have his name, but they have your DNA, they'll be able to know that you guys are related, and they'll be able to like, oh yeah, that's Joseph's family member.
Wow.
Let's basically look at Joseph's family tree, figure out who he's related to, so we can narrow the pool of suspects. So all of a sudden, you know, you don't do anything, but your cousin killed somebody or did some robbery, and your cousin gets booked because of you. Yeah, Joseph, doesn't get peanut man, right?
So we'll be sending in that stuff anytime.
Yeah, no, I told my cousin sent it in too to called Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
Like, they start cussing him out. Like, none of us can kill anybody now.
You're exposed
right?
now.
Like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the hell, Yusuf? Like,
that's funny, man. Because remember, what was that? Remember that guy, Stephen Avery? Remember Stephen Avery? What was that? It was the guy. He was apparently falsely accused, and it was just when the time of when that movie came out. What was it called again, Adara? Making a Murderer, right? So yeah. So this guy gave up his DNA, a lot of weird stuff going on in the case, and then pretty much just been in jail ever since. So maybe I don't know what people think about that.
Killer.
The
Golden State Killer, that the guy who, well, he was kind of known as the rapist first. I think it was in San Francisco. They didn't call him the San Francisco rapist. I don't know. First, he was the Vasilia stalker. He was breaking in to people's homes, basically stealing petty stuff. Then he upgraded that offense to sexual assault, and then that got upgraded to murder, and it was like incremental, Joseph. And they had a different name because they didn't know that was the same person.
It was the same guy.
Yeah, it was literally the same guy.
Graduating in the life of crime.
There you go. And they're like, for sure, this guy didn't stop killing. People don't stop killing. He's in jail or he's dead. And they were certain of that. Boy, were they wrong. Because he was sitting there like just in his neighborhood doing his thing. Bang on Ray Joseph. Very happy with this trade here. RAY got in on that pullback into the volume weighted average price. Where'd I get in? I got 68. Just took it out there at 90. Right up into that 194 now. HOD RAY. Good trade. But let me tell you, this is a bamboozler because it's got range per candle. That's a little unsettling. Trade this one carefully. We're also doing real well here on NAC. NAK still didn't get the print at 20s. That's a little frustrating, despite the fact that we keep showing 20s over here on the ask side of things. Let's see if we get that print. We're long 14s. It did double bottom into that 13 area, 12 area. Let's see if that double bottom is foreshadowing any higher move. I've got some decent shares on this, so I'll just take some a beak wetter here at 19s, and we'll see if that 20 level can print. Adara. The story of the journalist who solved the Golden State Killer case is also very fascinating. She was married to a B-list comedian and passed away before the book was published. I didn't actually know that, Adara.
It's really fascinating stuff, Sharif.
It's very interesting. I've been following this case, like the Golden State Killer case, for years and years before they even caught him. And when they caught him, I just couldn't believe what was happening because it was like I was like convinced like they were that either he was in jail or dead, because apparently when you do this kind of crime, you can't just stop. It becomes like a compulsion. I think they're wrong on that. They really need to revisit that theory because he literally did stop for, I don't know, however, 25 years, 30 years, which is, according to them, very unlikely. So anyway, NAK, that's the only trade we've got on right now. We're long 14s. I'm still waiting for that beak wetter at 20s. MLGO, though, Joseph, this one did do a pullback. So we were talking about how this one didn't have a green candle since 11:25. Well, sorry, a red candle. So we got our first red candle at 12:20. That is the breach of 10 1050 up into that 1073, and now we're trying to hold on to the 10 exponential. The last time on the day on MLGO, we had a 2-candle pullback. We rocketed up. I'm talking about these bad boys over here. 1115, 1120, and then you have a candle of indecision at 1125. And off that low of the 1125 candle to the high of the day, we moved up 65% from that pullback into that high, okay? So let's not write this one off super quick. We've seen this story before where it does a couple of candle pullback on the 5 and then rockets up. I'm not saying it's gonna do it again, but it's just about putting the statistical probability on your side with trading. That's what trading is all about, baby. We're going to keep an eye on MLGO, see if we can weasel another entry on that bad boy. It's been hanging out at the 10 exponential here for about 5 minutes or so. Let's see if it does it a little while longer, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. So yeah, Bitcoin looking like it wants to break through some support levels here, guys. So we'll have to keep an eye out on this. More tariff news. So yeah. Just a week of silence would be nice, but yeah, you're not going to get that around these neck of the woods. But yeah, you can see that we're starting to break through this pivot here, guys, to the downside. So I'm going to suspect we are above the cam range too, so we can come back into it. So just be wary of that. From a daily standpoint, it's similar to Amazon and some of these tech names. We are sitting above this resistance zone here. And now climbing higher, so that's a positive sign. I do think we can recover in Bitcoin, but we are going to hear some more tariff news with Adara, guys.
We do have some more tariff stuff. I just want to kind of summarize the comments we have coming through, not only now from Trump, but also from Commerce Secretary Lutnick. So he's saying that upon the launch of these reciprocal tariffs or other tariffs on April 2nd, they're also going to be launching the External Revenue Service. This is basically Donald Trump and his administration's plan to create income from the tariffs that they're basically posting there. So keep an eye on that. Also, Donald Trump making some more comments here on these cars and pharma tariffs that he mentioned. He said that the car tariff will come shortly and the pharma tariff will come, quote, at some point. So it looks like more near-term car tariff and then slightly larger term, these pharma tariffs. If I see anything else, I will let you guys know promptly. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that one. Yeah, JCB Sports, man. I've been talking about Hood for the past couple of weeks here, and I'm really glad that I picked up this name. I mentioned just from their previous fourth quarter results, the numbers were too fantastic in order for it to take a 40 or 50% hit from the top here, guys. So from peak to trough, 46%, and now we're in at the 40s. So I'm really happy about this trade. I like Hood for the foreseeable future. I've actually added it to the long-term account. Yeah, because I wanted to get into the name, yeah, because 700% in crypto transactions, 90% year over year in options activity. You're seeing more participants start to join the platform. It's just like beats all around the corner, and that's what you want to see in companies that are kind of growing. And it took a beating with the GameStop era and et cetera. But when you start putting up numbers like that, I think it's a good long-term play, and that's why I like being involved in Hooded. Put in a nice intraday here session as well, too, guys. Holding the volume weighted average price to a T, nice, possible, I wouldn't call this a double top, but you can see that we are constructing a lower high, but holding this level really, really well. So the stock is cooperating, and that's what you want to see, especially in some of these names here, Sri.
All right, NAC, we just broke 20, got the print at 20, it went to 22s. It didn't print though, because that's kind of been characteristic of NAC. If it doesn't cross the ask, you're not going to get the print. There's just way too much size posted on the ask for you to get the print. At least that's what I've perceived so far. Great double bottom at 13s. We're long 14s. Let's see if this one can take out the high of the day. We're looking at that $1.28. I don't want to take out too much too quickly. We've got some posted at 22s. We'll post some at 24s, a little bit above that level. MLGO, holding 9. This is a beautiful hold for now. Underline that for now. It's a double bottom into 9. Both of these 5-minute candles defend that $9 level to the penny. Let me give you the exact numbers. The first candle low, 903. The second, 9. So there is definitely a buyer in and around 9. Whether this one makes a new high above the previous 5-minute candle or not, we'll have to wait and see. So to make a new 5-minute candle will make a new high, we got to print above 970. We're zigging and zagging with 940 right now. So it's a good look with that 1073 high of the day. Let's see if it gives up 9. If it doesn't, I don't absolutely mind getting back into this one. We can weasel into this one, no problem, quick as you like. JCB Sports, $10 super chat, dropping the cash. Thanks to your boy, Joseph Wilson. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate you. That's all class right there from your boy, JCB Sports, man. All class right there. So we're going to shut them out. Yes, nice. We got the print at 22s on NAK. Now that current candle high is 22. So I thought it was 23. No. So we did get the print despite the fact it didn't cross. Now we're waiting at 24s. So we're going to post up above 24. We're going to wait at 26. And then we're going to wait at 28, which is the high of the day. So we'll look to wet the beak there at the high of the day. RAY, though, giving up the ghost. It's now below VWAP. It hasn't taken out that 160 area consolidation. I'm talking about this area right here where we previously had resistance and then we dropped into support. It's right there, guys. 161, the low of this candle. This one looks like it is losing the bid right now. So these ones are around for a good time, not a long time. Let's see if it can recover. The volume weighted average price on my chart is 172. And it has respected VWAP for the most part. I'm talking about RAY. Let's have a look. I mean, even though the range per candle is quite prohibitive and not really to my liking, for the most part, aside from the current candle that we're in, every single print on this monster did defend VWAP or the 10 exponential, but so sparsely traded is RAY that the moving averages and VWAP looking like zigzag lines rather than smoothed out curve lines. That's not something you see all that often on these small cap gappers. They're often quite curved. And so seeing them zigzag like this is a bit of I don't know, an attention getter, an eye opener here on Ray. So we'll keep an eye out on that to see if it means anything. Otherwise, it's all good there. Still keeping an eye on MLGO. It is now a 3 candle hold up above that $9 area and obviously well above the volume weighted average price, which, believe it or not, guys, is at 6 1/3. The price action is at 9 1/3 and VWAP's at 6 1/3. The reason I mention that is because sometimes you try to gauge whether something is extended or not to the high side, and you wait for that deeper pullback. It's not always the case. Some things just keep going. They don't need deeper pullbacks, but just keeping an eye on it. So, yeah, MLGO seems to be the one that I want to weasel back into if it does set up in the right way. It's a 3 candle setup now above that $9 area. Still dealing with that NAC trade, and then going to keep an eye out on that, obviously. Mara as well. I was involved in that $14 long on Mara, and I didn't have another dip trade on 14 to account for a pop-up. So this one did go all the way up into 14 1/4, a couple of shekels below 14 1/4, comes back in, and you get a wick off that 14. It tested it. 14 was a resistance level. Does it continue to hold above 14? Well, looking at this area over here, it does look like it is dropping down there. Joseph, what is going on?
Yeah, we got the
Okay, I see some triangles there, boy.
Yeah, man, and we're getting Google working here finally. Added into this position here, guys. Not a horrible look, but it took me multiple attempts, and I talked about the 3-strike rule. So we worked for one. We got on base there, stopped out break even, then strike out 1, strike out 2, and then now I'm sitting. I'm like, okay, I got a tough decision at the plate here, but then we added to this, and now it seems to be working out. But it is really spready and not moving too much. So nice. Add here and then, add right here, guys, and then just a continuous climb higher. But if it comes to my break even at this point, then I'll just have to cut the trade, unfortunately. But yeah, it took a couple of attempts in order to get the ball rolling. That tariff news from Donald came out and sent the market to the downside. Let's see if Google, who is lagging its peers, wants to get the ball rolling and start climbing higher. It looks like it wants to, so we'll have to see if we're starting to rotate into some of the into this name here. So yeah, good look there on Google. I went over the Amazon thesis. I went over the CAM structure. If there's any names, if you guys want me to take a gander at the options chain for you guys and say, hey, what do we see from an open interest standpoint throughout the week? And we can kind of gauge a range and what may happen in the S&P and in the NASDAQ, guys. And now that I'm talking about it, you don't got to ask me to do it. I'm just going to do it anyways. So let's take a look at the cues. We're doing it live. Let's take a look at the cues here, guys, to see what we got going on for this week's expiration cycle, which I believe ends on the 20. Oh no, it does not. The 31st. The first. No, that's not right. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, we'll take this one, March 28th. Yes, that's what we want. So yeah, guys, let's see what we got going on. 490, 15,000 open contracts. That's not too hefty, but it's looking like there is some overhead resistance there, guys. We traded to 490.74, and then now rejecting that level. So 15K at 490, with that rejection displaying itself, that can be a level to keep an eye out on. And one thing that I want to note is that because we had quad witching last Friday, and then all those contracts being expired, that kind of gives the underlying assets free room to climb higher. After that, all those contracts have now dissolved, gone to options contract. They're all gone. We won't see them again. And now you just have a little bit of space for underlyings to climb in. And that's where you can see, hey, we're trading higher in Amazon, Tesla, NVDA as well too. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. 490, that rejection's coming into play. If there's anything else you want us to go over, I'll be more than happy to do so. But right now we need to focus on is Google. If we, is that focus? I don't know. No one really knows Sean Desmond, I guess. I don't even think that's a Sean Desmond. That's my buddy's cousin, eh?
This girl, she got me shook with her pretty brown eye.
Yeah, that's my buddy's cousin.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, he's in Toronto, so
he's a Toronto guy.
Beyond the realm of
I can't remember his
possibility,
brother's name.
He was a singer
something.
too.
Yeah. They both had like a couple
Danny
good tracks.
Fernandez.
Is that Danny Fernandez? Yeah, there you go.
I always wondered why the one dude's last name is Fernandez, the other one's Desmond.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about
one's a stage name. I'm assuming,
I'm sure one of them must be. But yeah, my buddy's cousins. Yeah. And I told Adair, I know you wouldn't know who this is, but I'm at Farm Boy the other day.
I love Farm.
And I come out of the elevator and I took a second look at this individual, and it's this Toronto rapper named Baka Not Nice. It's like Drake's friend. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar makes fun of him. So he's like a popular top 5. You know what's crazy about top 5?
Sorry, bro.
I used to see him in the nightclub.
Did you actually see this guy?
Yo, me and him used to talk. I swear to God. And Andrew Wiggins too. Like every Caribana year, I would see.
You're kidding.
I swear to God. Yeah. I forget the name of the club now. It changed to Toy Box, but it was like a hot Monday night spot, and I would always see Andrew Wiggins there.
No way.
And we would always be like, "Yo, what's up, bro?"
That's crazy.
Yeah. Before he was, and then 1 year after he signed that big contract with Minnesota, he comes in with like this massive Timberwolf diamond chain and everything like that. Yeah, so
cool,
that's funny. It was funny seeing all those guys. But yeah, Baka Not Nice. I seen at the local grocery store, Toronto rapper.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but here we go, guys.
Love it.
Yeah, continuing to climb higher in Google. We're getting this breakout that we wanted, so not a bad look on that front, ladies and gents. I told you that it was lagging, and now it seems that it wants to climb higher. Let's see if we can test this high a day. Well, actually, that's quite a ways away. We'll pull up on the higher time frame. I do believe we can break 167.80 here. It's going to take some volume and momentum, but you can see this outlying signature, brother.
All right, I'm keeping an eye on MLGO because it looks like it's going to break out again, guys. It's doing that rounding, curling effect. Here it is. I'm going to cover trade desk for Jameson because he's quite polite, and I totally forgot last time, but this is kind of the same look. My goodness, it's almost the same amount of candles pullback, and then the same look, the curling effect, and the higher lows and the higher highs. It literally is doing the same thing again. MLGO, I don't know if this is trying to lure you in, only to send this one down to VWAP at 650. I don't know, man, but it is literally copying exactly the pullback from that 11:15 time slot to when we broke out again at around 11:30 there. So good look right now. But trade desk, TTD. Jameson was asking me about this. I like this, Jameson. On the day, the higher lows seem to be in play over here. Every time we dip in, buyers are picking it up at a little bit of a higher level. I was going to say flat top break, but I don't think that would be accurate. It does seem like an upward channel. So TTD on the day, what is it up? Allow me a moment here. 3 1/3%. It does seem to have a bit of selling at that 5 1/3, but anything off, I would say the lower end of this, or sorry, the bottom trend line there on the channel, that's a good buy. We'll see. I mean, it depends on whether it holds this trend or not, but the trend is there. It seems like it is an upward channel. It's up 3 1/3. Obviously, looking at the daily chart, you may not be as exuberant punching back up because off that December high, and the area lows were down 62%. I mean, since December. That is ugly. Very ugly. But if you're looking at it from an intraday perspective, it is a good look, at least for now. Upward channel. Let me know how that goes for you, my friend. Good look by you on that one. I'm still all eyes on MLGO, though, man, because it It's just putting in higher lows, and it's doing that curling effect. So I think this is possibly another long, maybe take out 10 3/4. I'm getting in. And I don't mind dollar cost averaging into 9. We're going to hold small shares here, and then I don't mind picking up some dip trades. So the previous or the current candle low is 925. The previous candle low is 920. So possibly a little bit off there. I mean, if it does give you that move down, let's go ahead and set some lofty price or beak wetters over here in case this one pops up and we get a quick spike. Otherwise, I don't mind defending it into about that 9 1/4 area with small size over here. Good look and good rounding effect on that one. 2 New York cents. Take a look at Kava on the hourly chart. It has a belly bottom and curving up. Is it time for a long here to a possible 110 again? That's actually interesting. I've never heard about the belly bottom price pattern. Have you, Joseph?
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, there's time for everything over here. So we're gonna just put in a possible dip trade on our friend MLGO, and then we're gonna look at Kava when we get back from Adara at the big desk.
Just be aware here, keep an eye on DJT getting a nice little pop here. We're seeing, I guess, from Pro Terminal that Donald Trump's World Liberty is deploying here a $1 or USD1 stablecoin on the BNB chain source. So apparently a coin here has been deployed by the Trump family's World Liberty Financial. DJT did spike to days high, pulling back a little bit now, guys. Keep an eye on that ticker. Back to you.
Back up.
Donald.
Yeah, Donald's, he's an interesting guy.
It's definitely interesting now adding something
he's
to
like
the NBA chain.
The main focus of our election. It's insane. We're not even talking about our own economy, our own issues of, interprovincial trade or anything. The main issue for Canadians, according to some polls, is not the economy. I kind of conflate Donald Trump and the economy to be one, but they actually had them as two separate ones. Donald Trump is the number one with like 25% or more of more Canadians actually think that that is the number one issue for the election. And then number two is the economy, which to me is a little crazy. But again, Adara, I think that they're one and the same, because Donald Trump is affecting the Canadian economy. And I think that that's why people are interested in him. In case you're wondering what we're talking about, we had an election called yesterday in this country. We will be deciding on a new government come April 28th. We haven't had one since, I believe, October of 21. It was during COVID. Was it 21 or 22? 21.
20.
Pretty sure it was 21.
Yeah, it was after COVID, right? Because he wanted to introduce.
That's right, because he had just sent out the checks,
yeah, exactly.
and he was trying to get reelected on the back of the checks. I remember that.
Yeah.
In any event, let's have a look at Kava for 2 New York cents. So his question was, take a look at the hourly. Sure, let's have a look at the hourly. Trying to keep my eye as well on this MLGO trade, but we've got some small share size, so it's all good. Yeah, this is a good look here, a good curl back up. Is this a previous area low, the $75 area, kind of a bizarre area to hold up? Let's have a look. Is 75 a previous area low? Yes, it is. Okay, so that was the yen, the unwind of the yen carry trade, I believe, in early August. We did hold up there, so there is support at this level from prior occasions. Expect resistance, though, I would say, at 100 before you see 110. I see what you're looking at there for the 110 area. That was the area low over here during mid-January to basically to mid-December. So we did hold that level for a month. But before we can get to 110, 2 New York cents, look at that triple top at that 100. So I think that probably comes back into play, seeing as it is likely psychological resistance as well. I mean, who knows? But that's a good look by you. I do like that, my man. Shout out to you. Let me know how many prints you take up on that bad boy right there. Now, we're moving on up here on MLGO. Here we go again. 80 showing up. I'm waiting at 88s. Can we get the print to the high side? No. So there is a seller right now at 80, so I won't take the print there quite yet because I'm holding baby size and there's really no point in taking it there. I'd rather get the cost basis addition at 40s. We'll see what we get. We won't get upset, but it is a several candle red setup now, or several candle top. Wow, this is losing the bid really quick here. Any break of 9, I'm gone. So just did dip into single 9s, right back into that 9 1/3. If it loses 9, I'm out on this MLGO trade. Let's see if it can pop back up. It is technically still holding above 9, but 9 1/3 is the level. I don't know if we we recover from this. This looks ugly because this did technically make the new 5-minute candle make a new low. So this could be a bit of a trap here on MLGO. Let's find out here. Joseph, what do you got?
I like how you said, see if we can recover from this, because it just led me to the Tiger King quote where he's like, oh, I can never financially recover from this, even though it's not funny.
Oh, yeah. I never got into that show.
Joe Exotic. You never liked Joe Exotic, man?
No.
He was like the hardest Halloween costume for a couple of years there.
Problems.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, guys, here we go in Google, holding on to still some of this position. Let's see if we can get this crack of the high a day. We're being patient. RGTI coming in, Bitcoin coming into the volume weighted average price. But there was a large spike in Tesla's volume here, guys, as we cracked through that high a day, that HOD. Holding this base, but then you can see that volume really step in. But now we have this indecision print that I think we need to keep an eye out just in case the market wants to pull back. So you can use this as your risk parameter if you believe that we're going to break through some of these support levels. I know Katina Man hit the short on it last week as well on Friday, but I was looking for the short on it. I just wasn't patient enough. I was using TSLS as my vehicle, so long TSLS. So I'm synthetically short Tesla. So yeah, let's see if that holds up. This could be a potential rejection candle of these levels, and then we head a little bit lower. I also want to point out we're running into support on Google. So you can see that we're kind of hesitating and chopping sideways where we're currently sitting. So nice double bottom here, some indecision prints, but now we're running into this intraday base, and now that was once support, and now it's acting as resistance here, guys. So in order for us to break through, you know what I'm gonna say, we need that volume and we need that momentum to kick in order for us to head into that 168 and that higher day level. It can definitely happen. Google can really get the ball rolling. Speaking of, like, from a percentage metric, it's one of the worst beaten up, but I just referred to its correlation with Apple and how important those two companies are to one another. 24%. But there is some really good indecision here on the daily, right? So you can see that we didn't turn around right away, but you get this buying pressure at these lows right around that 25% mark, and then now we gap up like the other Mag 7 and continue to just slowly climb higher. The price action isn't that clean, but you can see that there's going to be some next resistance that we're going to possibly run into, and I think that's that 170 level. So we'll mark that out and see how price reacts around 170. And it's definitely not going to be today, but I wouldn't say definitely, but it might not be today. What do you got going on there, man? You're dancing up a storm over there. Let's go.
I can't dance, but I'm gyrating.
Didn't you used to
break dance?
Break. So you can dance, thanks.
That's just completely different. That's more athletic than actual.
You got dance in it. You got dance in the name, right?
All right, guys, we're in here at MLGO. We popped up, took that 988 print. Here we go again. We're zigging, we're zagging. We're in at 945. It's showing me 960 now. I don't know how I feel about this trade, Joseph. We keep making lower highs. I don't know if that's the move right now. So I'm going to look to extract a little bit of profit here while we're in the money, because it feels like this one, the best trade is kind of behind this one. That's what it feels like to me. So if we can pop back up and get the print, I'm just going to flatten out here. I'm going to take it out here. I don't feel comfortable with this trade. It is too sideways for my liking right now. MLGO, this is not how it was trading earlier. So it does look like there is a seller of note in and around 980. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4 candle flat top. Now, we've seen... Now, just this pattern in isolation, forget about everything that came before it. This pattern in isolation could be a bullish pattern. We have higher lows with that flat top. We know that to be a flat top breakout. Candidate, not for sure. So if we do get that flat top breakout, then that confirms it. We can weasel in at that time. But I just wanted to take my profits and get the hell out of there with MLGO. Awfully scary. This one, especially trading it in the illiquid time of the day. The volume, as you just mentioned, really has dropped off a cliff there. Lower lows, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, all the way down. The volume is dropping off. And that isn't really a glowing endorsement to go long, okay? So maybe you can build your position possibly into 9. I think that could be interesting, but this chart pattern is a little too risque for me. So we're out of there. NAK, there is an obvious seller at 122. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to see that we've been rejecting 122 since 1235. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute, five 5-minute candles, all of which have rejected that 122 print. Nothing even at the 123, 122 and a half, not even a mid print. So there is a notable seller here at $1.22, and you can see some decent size there, some good wattage at that $1.22, but it's not moving. So we'll see exactly what's going on there. Someone was yelling about KDLY. And we were in this one earlier. We traded it positively, but it lost VWAP. So it kind of, you know, we don't trade these ones that drop below VWAP, but it is trying to work its way back above VWAP right now. And I really do mean trying. Just weaseled in right into that 240 area, the exact area where VWAP is, and it's having trouble. So if this one can curl back above that white line on your chart and stay above there, so a closing print above VWAP, not just a quick wick, and then I'd move right back down, we'll get involved with this one. It still has its place up on the side chart, still up 57, 58%, so a lot of people will have eyes on it, but the volume as well kind of dropped off a cliff, much in the same way that MLGO did, but you can kind of see a couple of outlying candles here that could possibly start curling that volume to the high side. Again, KDLY is the one I'm talking about. Sorry, I didn't have the ticker in there. KDLY. And this is another possible pattern here, is a head and shoulders pattern preceded by the uptrend, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It doesn't have to be that way, but it's something to be on the lookout for. It doesn't mean it's going to manifest certainly or anything like that. So KDLY will lose its spot if it continues to trade below VWAP. Bovin, Holo moving up slowly, but need to break $1. Another former runner that we know very well about, HOLO. It used to be a monster. It had a great day on Friday. Look at that, Bovin. This one was really breaking out there right at 12:30. It looks like 12:35. This one got its news catalyst, and from the consolidation area low to the area high, we were up 75% in about half an hour or so on Friday. Very much an inside day today, Bovin. The Friday high above us, the Friday low below us. We're kind of in a bit of a tight range. The good news about Holo is it's not giving up the entire move that it made on Friday. The bad news is we're still below the high, and we are below the pre-market high, Bovin. Like, look at that 5 a.m. print, takes us about $1.14. So I'm not going to be trading this until and if it clears that $1.14. Those are just my rules for the small cap gappers. Won't break them. So let's see what else we got over here. IonQ, one of the ones that we mentioned right at the start of the show. This one was just very directional and didn't have an opportunity to get into this one. It's pulling back a little bit here, and it could very well touch the VWAP area, which is not that far above 25. 25 could be psychological support. Add to that the volume weighted average price pullback that algos use, big money uses, traders, intraday traders use. So you could have some buying coming in at around VWAP. I'm going to keep my eye on IonQ in and around that VWAP area. Good look, no doubt about it. Back to MLGO. Let's just take a quick look at this one. So the higher low pattern continues here on MLGO. So if we were kind of foreshadowing a possible flat top break through that 975 area, it's been made, I don't want to say more likely because that's not the right word, but what it is doing is continuing to put in that higher low with that flat top. That's what we call an ascending wedge. Let's see if it actually manifests or not. MLGO definitely in focus today, Joseph.
Yeah, nice look there, my friend. Yeah, if we can pull up my screen here real quick. Yeah, so that's just what we had going on. 4 trades on Google, 2 for 4, not too bad, still slightly positive on the name. So you can see that when the trade is working out, I'm adding. Unfortunately, we didn't get the continuation, and then we just get stopped out, break even. So that's trade 1, completely out. Trade 2 here as well, got out. And trade 3, after that, after Donald was talking, looking for the momentum to continue, and then just looked like it wanted to tank. But you can see, if I were to be holding on to these positions, I would have to sit all the way through this, and then if that was my entry, then only at that point I'm break even. Instead, I just get out, hop in right here again at a better price, add to where my original entries are, and then you just get that climb, but then we get stopped out there. So that's those trades there, guys. Yeah. So that's the game plan. I'm going to be a little bit more patient. Some names that I like are starting to come into levels that I'm attracted to here, like IBIT. It is starting to form some lower highs, so we need to take that into account as well here, guys. But I think just because the name is strong, still up around 5% here, 4.9 to be exact, roughly. But I like this. for the potential test of the high day. Let's see what we got going on from the 5-minute time frame. So we are holding VWAP really steady here, guys, and hopefully we can hold on to these levels. If we break lower, then yeah, if the market breaks lower, I should say, I can say, hey, maybe Bitcoin will start to follow. But what we'll do is we'll look at the options chain for a potential base. See, there's nothing crazy. That 490, I think, was the play in the rejection area on the Qs because we traded up to 490.71 and then we had the inability to crack and hold that level. But as for on the put side, there's nothing standoutish. What we got for this week is about 485 with 1,000 open contracts, but that's just not enough to be like, hey, that's really standing out and a level that we should pay attention to. But yeah, let's see what we got going on for today, which is the 24th. Again, 485. Are we going to go into those levels? I don't think so. And at 490, there's still about 4,000. So not as much as the weekly there, guys. So yeah, nothing that says that is eye-popping for me. Sharif went to the washroom. Yeah, Stevenson, we're going to do the playmaker here. We're going to wait for Sharif to get back, and then maybe we can get a good entry price there. Well, I guess it is 104. I don't like doing it without him. But yeah, we can start the process of that. Let me get rid of this here, and let's see what we got going on. The playmaker poll. Oh, not Shein. I don't want Shein. I want Google Sheets. Jeez. Shop at Shein. All right, Sharif. I know you just. I know you just sat down.
That's fine. What do I need to do?
To sell in. You know what?
Oh,
you know what's happening.
I'm ready.
Baby. I'm ready.
You know I got that on my side chart.
All right, let's do this thing, guys. We are going long today, guys. On the SPY, I kind of like this level. So if we can reject and then continue this primary trend, then we might be sitting in some good territory. But Sharif, entry price
572.91.
572.91. Bang.
We're taking profits at 574.91.
Where does that put us on the daily? Above the high of day?
We're already up 1.5, 1.6, right. So this is going to be a big boy day.
Above the high of day there, all right.
And we'll take out everything, 571.91.
All right.
I don't know if I like that stop.
Yeah,
whatever
it's a tight stop. It's a tight stop.
Exactly.
Where does that put us there? 570. 190. Ooh, yeah. So just below the volume weighted average price, and it's going to put us at the high of that second 5-minute candle, guys. Yeah. So that
is it's above VWAP, below VWAP.
Yeah. So if we can get that elastic effect that I often refer to, then we might be sitting pretty good there. I'm going to send it to you in one second. I want to touch something on SPY now that I realized, considering we were just talking about it. 24, there we go, 100 shares. Oops, we'll order this here. So yeah, what I just realized, guys, really nice print here on that 5-minute opening drive. Gorev, check this out. Hammer candle with that supporting volume. And then for those 5-minute opening range break traders, there you go. You get a nice move to the top side in the overall market here. And that 5-minute volume really supporting it. So that's a genuine move there, guys. You can see the effort from a volume standpoint, and then you see the result in the price action print on that 5-minute candle and the 5-minute volume signature on SPY.
Katina Man, how much would shorts on MLGO cost me, Katina Man? Because I think we're about to get the mother of all flat bottom breaks here through $9. Lower high, area high, 1073. Then another area resistance level, not area high, 975, 980, give or take, and then you have that 9 area defend. Now, I'm not going to short this above the volume weighted average price, but if it breaks below that 650, I'd like to have them to be able to really kind of just have the option, but this could lose 9. This is looking awfully ugly here on MLGO. It is stair-stepping down, and usually when it starts to do this stair-step, unless there's a big boy buyer at that $9 area to kind of bring the winds of change from the downside to the high side, we could lose $9 and it could get a little ugly. Now, if we do lose $9, what are the area supports where we could possibly pick it up? I'm not saying I'm going to be long here, but I just wanted to let you know. There does seem to be support at $8. We have this area high that took us into 8. Technically, it's not even 8. There it goes. There it goes. I kind of knew. Here we go. Let's see if it defends 9 now. Does this trap the shorts? Let's see if this is a move here by some of the longs to trap the shorts. I perceive this to be a possible flat bottom break through 9. It wasn't as vigorous as you would expect a flat bottom break to be, but let's just see if it continues to move down here. And if it does, where does it end up finding support? We're only a couple of shekels below that $9 area. There's a monster buyer buying this at $8.96, and he pushed it right back up above 9. Here we go, zigging and zagging right now. I'd like to see this just for myself. For trading these in the future. Okay, so did feel like that flat bottom break through 9 was a bit of a bamboozler, because right back above it goes. I guess we'll know if it takes out that 975 level, because that's the level we couldn't take out before. Let me show you on the black charts. It's a little clearer because of all the triangles on my charts, but this is kind of what I'm talking about there. So you kind of see this is an area high, and then you have a flat top over here at 975, 980, and then you have this $9 area that was being defended to no end, and then you get the break. Even though it was a perfunctory break, it just weaseled down super quick. The area low, 896, that's where I saw the monster buyer. But what I was saying before is we'll know this was a false breakdown, kind of to trap the shorts, if after this kind of moved below 9, we take out that 980 level that we couldn't take out before. So kind of setting it up to get all the shorts in. We'll see. MLGO is definitely going to stay on my watch list for the remainder of the day. It is right back into 9, though, so this might not have been a bamboozler. Let's see if it loses 9 again. We know for a fact that there was a buyer of note at 896. I'd love to see how it trades at around 896 if it's able to weasel down at about 10 more pennies. 906 we see here on the ask. Let's see if we lose 9 again. We've lost the bid on a lot of these small cap gappers today. I'm talking about Ray, KDLY. They all broke down below VWAP. KDLY trying to regain VWAP now, but that is part and parcel of the DNA of these small cap gappers, giving back a lot of the moves. So defending 9 for now. Let's see if it ends up losing that bid there. How much were they, Katina, man?
I messaged you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I didn't even hear the thing. Oh, because I'm not plugged in. So for 1,000 shares at Real Trading, just to give you the idea, 1,000 shares on MLGO, it cost me $1.30. That's the kind of advantage you have with Real Trading. So if you're not in the United States and you're looking for a prop firm, needless to say, that should be your go-to move right there, man. $1.30 for 1,000 shares.
Especially in this economy, you need those discounts.
Absolutely. In this economy, you need those discounts.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, you need the discounts here, guys. So we're sitting in some IBIT. We do have some resistance that we need to watch out for, but you can see the volume on the lower time frames slowly start to pick up. One thing is, when I'm wrong, it's going to be south of 50. So we're just going to start small there, guys. So if 50 cracks, then we'll just get out of the trade. But we're also in some RGTI. I do like the potential bottoming signals here, guys. So that's essentially what I'm playing off here. Is this specific signal right here, is that indecision. So you can see that we are constructing higher lows, which is a positive sign for the quantum space to start recovering. So that's what I'm playing off. This specific hammer got the break of it, and now slowly climbing higher. I didn't get the best entry. What is my average there on it? Yeah, so 4 pennies from what I want it to be. So I'll have to just post up and get that fill that I specifically want. But yeah, let's see if we can recover and touch into the volume weighted average price here on RGTI and continue to hold VWAP here and go and test the highs of days on IBIT. Jameson, I feel like I heard talks about it 2 weeks ago, not 100%. I mean, I don't think Donald would ever legalize marijuana in the States. That's just my opinion, and I don't think that's on his agenda, to be honest with you. I could be totally wrong. If any administration was going to do it, I thought it would maybe be the Biden.
100%.
Right, but I don't see Donald doing that. So for the weed stocks, not too good of a look. And that craze is already gone and went here in Canada, guys. So yeah, but NVDA, what a nice day it's putting in.
Like, what political incentive could he have
to do so?
Yeah. Like, what's the political incentive here? It's not really championed much by his own party.
Yeah.
Not like he always follows what his party does. He can be a maverick at times, right?
For sure.
He goes against his party sometimes. But like, I just don't see what the motivation for him is. aside from trying to winning some voters on the other side of the aisle. That's really the only thing that I can see.
That's a valid
You know what I
point
mean?
there,
Like,
right? It's just get that, like, just hit a larger, like, group of people into that want,
and
well, not larger, but something to add to what you have.
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah, absolutely. And he's not even running for re-election, so it would have to be to support his party in some other way, maybe around the midterms. I don't even think that that's going to be a major thing in the midterms. It's going to be likely tariffs on the economy. Yeah, it's not going to be weed, at least not for now.
Far from. And right? didn't that bill fail in Florida as well too?
I think so. I wasn't following
yeah, right. So it didn't pass to legalize it. I'm pretty sure that's what they were working on, and that didn't work out either. So I just
Brian H. taxes, Jameson taxes.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not wrong.
Tax. But if you want to look at a blueprint, look what we got going on here north of your border, right? Yeah. We don't really like the first couple of years wasn't that good, and it wasn't smooth sailing. I know that they were selling the rights to. They had like a pool, I think it was, that they had a lottery where you could win the right to sell things. Yep. That didn't work out, and then they just opened it up more to individuals who were able to. But again, it's not doing that well.
And TX Trader, I completely hear what you're saying. Why would he care about winning voters now? He doesn't right now. It doesn't make sense to do that now. I completely agree with you. This is the bamboozlement I'm talking about, bro. You get the flat bottom break, and then you get the 980. They were trying to push the shorts out. This is insane here on MLGO. We couldn't break this 980 for the life of us. And then we break 9, and then we move up to 10, and now we're losing the bid again. The best trade is behind MLGO here. This is where it becomes a chop fest and takes all your money because it breaks technical levels, pops above technical levels, basically taking from both the longs and the shorts. That's what I perceive here on MLGO. The best trade is when it's directional, not when it's sideways. That's kind of how I feel. Adair, are we going to you? No?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it. We're going to send it to Adair, yes.
Sharif, you were mentioning here earlier today 23andMe, and this is one that I meant to make this infographic earlier, but you reminded me, so thank you for that. This is the kind of dwindling revenue here of 23andMe for each quarter. So I want to explain they IPO'd in mid 2021, but their fiscal year actually starts mid-year. So Q1 2022 would basically be around when they IPO'd. Regardless here, there's an interesting trend of revenue spikes here in Q4, but you can really see here, if we were to chart this revenue growth, it's really just a story of lower highs and lower lows for 23andMe, which again, unfortunately did file for bankruptcy protection as of I think this morning, so just keep an eye here. This is ME. You can check out this infographic and many others on X at TTV Research. Also, we're going to take a moment here to thank our friends at Worksport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off the grid. Whether you're on the move or whether you're seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. They're now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, so discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Yeah, the Bash
I see that. All right, everybody's yelling about IMTE, so we got to cover it. I saw that it was halted to the upside. Bovin, Nimit actually was telling me about it. Now Bovin bringing this to my attention. So I still didn't get the alert. And the reason I didn't get the alert is because I have it at 151. It's currently halted, I believe, at 150. It's up 177%. But look at that wick. That is a real wick. That is a 4 a.m. wick. It still hasn't taken out the 4:05 a.m. level, and it hasn't taken out the 7 a.m. level. I stand corrected. I think it did take out the 7 a.m. level. It did. I'm sorry, I was wrong. That was 149. It's halted at 150. Still below that pre-market high level, though, at 165. I'm all ears, man. I mean, I have no problem trading IMTE, but it's just got to follow the rules and the setup. So if that alert does trigger, we will definitely put it on the side chart and see what it has to offer there. I do appreciate you guys bringing that to my attention because it's hard to follow everything. Pretty Panda, China started buying IMTE. Funny how such a small... Bro, come on, man. I'm not reading that out loud. You're killing me. IMTE, high a day. Yes, I see that. M Games. Wow, you can get angry at stocks. Some talent there. Did I get angry?
I don't think so.
Oh, about MLGO? Yeah, I'm just an expressive guy, brother. I'm not angry on it. I'm up on the day on it. So I'm not angry at all. I don't want you to think the wrong thing there. I'm a passionate guy. What can I say?
Hold on, man. That deserves one of these here, Sharif.
What? Oh. Dunking on me.
Wow, man. Come on.
there was I went with my family to. I'm not going to say the restaurant.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can say it. No,
I don't want to because you're my ear. Anyway, so this guy's walking around with, what's it called, a basketball net on his back.
Oh, and
people are dunking. It's like, like setting up people at your table to get dunked on. I was like, has nothing to do with the theme of the restaurant. Why is a dude walking around with a basketball net on his back to dunk on random people?
So before we we had a craze of this. So my buddy who went to Laurier University, and I was in Guelph too, right? So we would go there, but we have this video that's so epic where you would put one of the little basketball nets behind someone who wasn't paying attention, and then someone would just come up and dunk on them. We have the most epic videos because it's literally so hilarious. Happening. Yeah, it's so hilarious.
But it made no sense for the restaurant. It was like, okay, this is no sports themes whatsoever. It's not a sports bar. Like, it would have made more sense. Anyway.
That's funny. But we're going to send it off to a dare here real quick, guys.
Keep an eye here on IMTE. So people asking here about this halt. There's no new catalyst on it, but it's mentioned basically more or less in passing on a WordPress site called Get News Story. So I saw this on Benzinga. It looks like it came out around probably 1:15, about 4 minutes ago, and near the bottom here of this article, we do have IMTE being mentioned again, pretty much in passing as just another company worth watching this week. So IMTE getting a passing mention in a WordPress, newsletter here from Get News Story. Back to you.
For that, Adara, let me cover something here, quick. So we're starting to climb higher in IBIT. That's working out really nice. But we're starting to piece out a Rigetti here as well off of that signal. So I'm going to take a little bit more off here as we run into VWAP, guys. Oops. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to take about half off at that VWAP. So there we go. Nice fill. So we don't have too much left, guys. About 30% of this position of what I originally had there. Yeah, so even if that, so yeah, that's not a horrible look off of that bottoming signal. Precision is really key, and it's unfortunate that I missed that precise entry because then we would have had a better risk to reward. I mean, like, if you want to just do quick math, so if I got in when I was supposed to, that's 43, and the low was 39, that's 4 cents. If I take 100 shares, that's $4, you know, of risk, essentially, right? A little bit more, whatever you want. So you can just continue to add as things work, because this is only a $9 stock. But yeah, IBIT looking like it wants to tap into some resistance levels that we previously marked out here, guys. Let's see if we can break through this one. The market's starting to slowly pull in here, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So I've put IMTE up on this trading screen over here. It is currently halted, as we said, at $1.50. The theoretical auction price showing me 151. So not bad, but it's going to have to work above that 165, but I'd like to have it up on the trading screen so that we're ready for it if it does present me with an opportunity. Oh, wow, that just extremely loud in my ear. That's crazy.
Oh, is it working now?
There we go. It just took out the high. We're going to halt at 166, guys. That is technically the breach of the pre-market high. The pre-market high is 165. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure I double checked that already, but yes, 165. We are now halted at 166. IMTE up 207%. Fantastic for all the guys that took that. Somebody was asking me in the chat, like, Sharif, what's y'all? In fact, it was.
Sport, right?
I'm not going to basically take this below VWAP. He was asking me, like, I get your rules, but why don't you just take it off the low and then work into the highs? I said, because it's a lower probability trade. At least that has been my observation. When these bad boys are below VWAP, my observation has been that the sellers are in control. And then when you get above the volume weighted average price, for the most part, it's not really a black or white type thing. Buyers tend to get in control there. So that's why I kind of have my rule doing that. And then he goes on to say, if you are concerned with bag holders above the pre-market highs, could get out well before that level. It's not just about that level, West. It's because you're going to have pre-market bag holders from all different levels. It's not just going to be only at the high of the day. There's going to be people who punched in at the high of the day, but there's going to be people who punched in below that. When you clear all those levels, you know that you've removed all those bag holders from the way. So it's not just about one specific level, but I like your question. It's, putting me to the test there, and I do appreciate asking that.
Time to pay some bills.
Yeah,
bro.
go for it.
Yeah, for sure. You guys ready for this? Profit X. Number 2, in sports playing, flexibility is everything. At Profit X, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. Profit X, where you can call the shots anytime, anywhere. Profit X right there, guys. Scan that QR code. You can call your own shots. We like that. So there you go. Go and check it out. Scan that code and see what Profit X. Okay, is this that time?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a little hungry now.
You're hungry
Blood sugar's
too.
dropping a little bit, Joseph. So
okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I do know why.
Never
because we
really
have some
liked
Chinese food today for lunch, so they brought us fortune cookies. So let's go ahead and pop these bad boys open. Before I eat it, let's see what we got here, though, Joseph. All right. Mine says, a half-truth is a whole lie. I don't know if that checks out logically, like from a logical perspective, but it's got some wisdom. A half-truth
It's a whole lie.
is a whole lie.
I can get behind that.
You can get behind that.
Yeah, because I mean it's a whole lot.
It sounds sassy, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not fully telling the truth, then that's a full-on lie, is it not?
But wouldn't a whole lie being not any truth?
Yeah.
But then a half-truth
Would be
necessitates some truth.
It still says that it's
You're
a
not-
lose.
you're not allowed
It's a
to.
lose. Yeah, no.
What do
it's
you
a
got?
lose. I can't say, brother.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Dude, let
me have a look.
personal. You want to read it?
Yeah?
I don't know if I can let you,
Let me
man.
just have a look, bro. Just this guy. What is this? Is it French? All right, there's
Yeah.
the other side. Okay, what do we
Yeah,
got? Can I
there you
read it
go.
out?
Sure, man. Sure.
I like this. You
Exactly.
have common sense and a lot of charm. What's wrong with that?
Exactly
bro?
why I didn't read it, because it holds near and dear to my heart.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Oh, there you go. That's exactly
Charming
why.
Joseph Wilson.
There you go.
That's what it is right there.
A little common sense. I hope. Anyway.
A little common sense. I think you got a lot more than a little common sense there, brother.
But I never really liked these. Did you eat these things? I never ate
I
them.
do,
to
but
be honest
I
with you.
can't eat it now because it's going to make a whole lot of noise on the thing. So I'm going to mute it when you're doing it, and I'm going to eat it there.
Nice look, yeah. But here we go. Oh, sorry. We're going to send it off to Adair. We'll talk about RGTI and IBIT after.
Just keep an eye here on some of these nuclear names. Here's SMR, and then here's OKLO. Basically here, the Department of Energy announced today that there's going to be $900 million available to unlock commercial deployment of American-made small nuclear reactors. So OKLO actually probably getting a nicer bump off of that, though SMR was also pushing higher. If you do not remember, Oklo is actually reporting earnings after the bell today, so Oklo is going to continue to be on watch. They had a positive catalyst this morning as well. So OKLO and SMR, as well as all nuclear plays, on watch as the Department of Energy announces $900 million available for unlocking the commercial deployment of some of these SMRs made in the U.S. Back to you.
There, yeah. So climbing higher here in IBIT, guys, that's working out really nice, and so is RG and TI. Rigetti, really, really nice entry here, and then just slowly climbing higher and higher. Could have added a little bit more, but I'm just like, I'm happy with what we got going on. Now, up 5%, and that nice recovery indecision print on the 5-minute time frame. We're going to post up at 964, and see if we can catch that. So I'm going to go down the order book, and then I'm going to look to take off half of what I've got remaining. So you can see there now posted at 964. Let's see if we can break and hold the volume-weighted average price and continue this northeast trajectory. IBIT continuing to climb higher. We like this one. I do believe that, again, this ball can really start to get rolling in crypto street, because up 5%, but it's nothing for Bitcoin to put in a 10% day. I talk about it all the time, and I think that can definitely come into fruition today. We'll take a little bit more off there. So nice look. Would have liked to get the entry better, obviously, but it is what it is. And Jay Lee, I mean, I like that you say that I'm humble, but then when you see me on the ice, I think I'm the polar opposite, because when you get into a hockey game, you get some of the best chirps from the opposing bench, and then that can just get people going. So if you're looking to up that ish talking game, then you go on the ice, and then you'll be able to do so. So there's no humility on that front. We are not humble individuals once that puck is dropped. But nice look here on IBIT here, guys, climbing higher and higher. I do believe that we're going to go and test this high day at 50.50, unless we double top here, Sharif, which might come into play. There is a key pivot level that we need to watch out for. We are now rejecting it, but if this momentum and the volume on the lower time frames continues to pick up, then I think we're going to be sitting pretty good.
PSTV is rocketing up, guys. It's going to take out $2. 197 high a day right now. It halted, I believe, at 170, or no, so it halted at 160.65. It opened up at 177, dropped back down to defend that halt level. It goes 167, doesn't quite make it down into 165. Here we go, zigging and zagging, topping till into 197. I was worried about punching into this because I didn't want to get caught in a down halt. But I think that the parameter now gives us a little bit of room. I don't know if I want to punch in with that 2 rejection. That's the thing. Let's give it the old college try. We're going to give this one a try. So let's see if we can get some to the high side over here into 186. There is definitely selling into 180. Let's see if that area gets defended. Do we get that 186 print? We did. Okay, let's see if we can get something at 190 over here on IMT. Zigging and zagging. It's going to lose 80. There's a buyer at 80. If we lose that buyer at 80, that's it. I'm out. So I'll get back in. If it does dip into 175 there, so we'll take break even. And look at that. It just dropped 10 cents. So good out there. Let's see if it pops back up. Now we know that the halt level there was 167. So I don't mind defending into that 167 level. Let's see if we can possibly get back into this one over here. What do you got over there, Joseph? What's happening?
RGTI. We caught that 964 fill on RGTI. So.
All right, good look. We're getting there. I see Ion Q's making another move back to the high side. So it looks like Quantum's back in play today. Let's see what we get after NVIDIA's GTC. Thursday, Quantum Day, seemed like a sell the news event. Now we're zigging back up here. I'm just keeping my eye here on IMTE. We're punching long again at 85s. Let's see if we can get something a little closer to 90. 90 does seem to be a bit of a resistance level here, or at least it seems like that way for the moment. There we go. Now we get the print. We're above 90. We're long 85s. Let's see if we can scalp up into 94s. Again, if we lose 80, I'm out on this one. So I'm going to keep just scalping until it gives me that big pop up, possibly to the high side right now. IMTE, zigging and zagging. It's got 239% up on the day, but definitely having trouble with that $2 area, at least for now. We'll keep an eye out on this one to see if it does lose a bid. Buyer at 82 now. He's getting taken out. Let's see if we get, or reinstituting their position. Okay, not a bad look there. Looks like buyers are stepping in into the low 80s. That's the second time that's happened. We're getting some resistance, though, at 85 here at IMTE, at least locally. Wasn't an area that I really earmarked before that for resistance. So usually it's that 90 penny level, you know, the 10 penny level, sometimes an area of support and resistance on these small cap gappers. Here we go again. Now the buying's coming in quite aggressive. We take out the seller at 85 momentarily, but they're right back there. So there, yeah, here we go. Look at this. There's a tug of war between buyers and sellers at this level. So we'll have to wait and see which way the cookie crumbles here. Lost 80 again, so I'm out. I'll take a bit of an L there because that was a 5 penny loss. Let's see if this one wants to continue, though. I'm not going to keep zigging and zagging with this one. I don't give too much back over here on IMT. That's not as directional as it was prior to that. Maybe it needs a little bit more of a setup. I'm going to give this one, maybe I should pick this up at 75 and then give it to about 65, give or take, because that's the halt level there. So I'm going to set up at 75. Let's see if we can wait there. I'll actually front run it at 76 for a pop down. Then we'll look for an area defending the 65. That way I have an exact amount of money that I can risk, which is basically my entry at 76 and my out at 65. So let's see how this one does, Joseph. What's chuckling over there?
This guy, Frank S. says, I am short Joe's barber. Come on, he's good, man. That's crazy. You're lucky I can take a joke, man.
What guy, bro?
Yeah, I know. Wait, you don't like the fade? You don't like the fade, man? Come on.
I like the fade, bro. He's sick. Don't listen to this guy.
Yeah, obviously I'm chuckling about it. But short Joe's barber, man. Come on, he's from Argentina, man.
So what?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean,
The
Joseph?
economy's struggling and stuff. You don't want to short that.
That's funny. Joker, bro.
Yeah, so it's all right. Here we go, guys, in IBIT. We caught that fill on, thank you, Neil. I much appreciate it.
Get him, Neil.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Sick fade, he says. So, I don't know, let me know who your barber is, buddy, and I'll come check him out. And we'll
Who's your barber? Let me see your hair.
Yeah, let's see your hair. No, we're only playing. around, messing around. Good stuff here in RGTI, guys. Having a good Monday. 132 to be exact. So nice look here. Continuously piecing it out on RGTI as we climb higher. So that's one of the better trades of the day. So there it is. And we're still climbing. We only have one out left. So we'll hold on to that remainder of that 10% there. IBIT, let's see if we're continuing to climb. And there we go. We caught that fill. So we posted up there at 27s. I think that next target's going to be 35, and we'll hold on to that. And if we break through this resistance zone that I mentioned earlier, guys, then I believe that we can go and test that high day. So that's going to be the thesis and the play. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about earlier, guys, is that how Microsoft is kind of just lagging everybody. Oh, there it goes. Bitcoin just popped. So nice look there. The long-term portfolio is looking good again.
Hey.
So we're all giddy about that. So yeah, we're having a good time. Microsoft, you can see just the weakness here, guys, from that 5-minute time frame. So if you're playing that orb, you get that continuous breakdown, but it just hasn't been participating in the overall market move. So that's why you can see we're just kind of dragging along here in the Qs and in the SPY as well too. So we'll be patient, see if IBIT's volume starts to pick up here, Shreve, and we can go in and test that high day.
All right, we got in at 75, scalped up all the way to 85s. I'm back in here for the break of 2. I'm talking about IMT. I picked up 91s. Let's see if we can get that break into 96. It does seem to be aggressive buying here with the idea that we could get, there it is, baby. And now we're going to take a little bit more at 2. Very pleased with how this trade is going. So, man, I fat fingered. Let's take it out here. I'm going to have to take it. Oh, wow. I'm so slow, bro. All right. Let me just post it up where I wanted it. There we go. Boom into 98. Very happy with this trade. I was able to get back in on this one. So 75 out. Took everything out, but got back in at 90, out again. So good execution on this one, but can definitely do a little bit better. Certainly now that it's above $2. Nimit, man, thank you for pointing this one out. Bovin, thank you for pointing this one out. But I'm happy I stuck with my plan, which is to wait above the pre-market high. Obviously, you're going to point out and say, Sharif, you could have been long at that $1 and you would have been $1 in the money. I get that, but it doesn't happen every time, right? That's why I insist on the pre-market high getting taken out. It's just about a statistical methodology here, in the sense that if they're below pre-market high, then there is a higher likelihood that they do break down. We'll look to trade this one once it is open again. Currently halted at 202 with a tap showing 210. So we'll keep eyes on that one. I did not get a chance to mention this one, but you guys have been yelling about it for a while, and thank you for pointing this one out. PSTV. Good luck, man. This one did make its way onto my my scanner. It's not the #1 gap or anything like that. It's up 20%, a little bit less actually than 20% now that it's pulling back a little bit, but a nice directional move, and especially a nice breakthrough that $1.30. You had 1-2 rejections at that $1.30. You kind of pull back into VWAP. It looks like it's going to be a flat bottom break, right? Because you're putting on all these lower highs with that flat bottom, and then you're made to pay if you took this short, because rocket it did. Off that 118 area where VWAP was, moved up into 150. It is meeting some selling here at that 150 level. But what's most positive about this is not the fact that it's up 20% on the day, but it's pulling back and it's holding above the 10 exponential. So that's going to be my first level to see whether or not that level that indicator gets breached or not. Currently it's at $1.39. The price is showing me 140, between 140 to 142. If that level gives way, I'm talking about the failure to hold the 10 exponential moving average, I'm looking at that $1.30. That $1.30 will be money, in my opinion, because it was such an obvious resistance level earlier. It should get tested again as a possible support level. In addition to that, you have VWAP at $1.28. So you have very, very close areas between that $1.28 and the volume weighted average price. I'm talking about that ticker on your screen there, PSTV. Definitely interested for this one. If it does hold the 10, I'm taking it long for the break of 150. If it doesn't hold the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, I'm picking it up. I'll try to pick it up between $1.33 and $1.25. I'm happy that I didn't short MLGO, despite the fact that the Katina man was nice enough to get me shorts on this one, because look what it's done, Joseph. I mean, you think flat bottom break, you got bamboozled twice. Look at that. Failure of 9, pops back up, takes out 10, gets everybody out.
Lit crab right
exactly.
there.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's why I insist on shorting these below VWAP, because buyers are still in control in this area, whether we're pulling back off the highs or not. So MLGO definitely in focus, but not for me at the moment. KDLY is doing its absolute best to reclaim that volume weighted average price. It's had once, twice, and now we're on the OB dang thrice attempt. While we were doing that, we put in higher lows. So this is kind of the good news here. Whereas in this attempt, we put in lower lows, with lower highs, but we tried to break it. That was an obvious failure. And now we put in higher lows. So now the buyers showing that just, little by little, they're starting to regain control of the price action of KDLY. Look for a break of 255 on a closing basis and not this garbage over here where it wicks above VWAP and then loses it right away again. So that's not what you want to look for, especially if you're going long there. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joseph. KDLY and PSTV. Let's see how they trade, baby.
Hey, let's go.
Oh, I just saw D. Westermeyer. My bad.
Oh, mister.
Sharif, I bought and sold IMTE for 15 cents a share profit at the market open. I wish I had a crystal ball. You and I both, my man. Shout out to D. Westermeyer, a friend of the show. We miss you around here, brother. Hope you definitely have an opportunity to visit us again, because it was a hell of a time while you were here. I remember he brought me sorghum, that sweetener sorghum. Okay. I think some cinnamon and some honey. Ooh. And I'm out of all three. I used all three. They were excellent, man.
Honey. Ooh, I like some natural honey too. I think some natural honey.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was.
Yeah, that's good.
All
stuff.
about that life.
All right, guys. You know what time it is. Darwin, I think this is your moment to shine. E-Signal. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything infinite. Data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan that QR code or check that link in the description right there, folks.
Wes, y'all, dropping the cash in the chat. Thank you very much. Wes, y'all. IMT is open. It looks like it's going to halt down. Unless it's going to be a false halt here, 187. I'm just going to cover West y'all in a second. It is now halted down. IMTE breaks 2, halts down. Keep your eye on it. I don't think that's the end of the trade. Wes, just want to show my support for the show. I love trading every day with Sharif and Joe. You know I'm always here and trying to contribute. Thank you very much, my friend. Well, you're a great fan of the show, and I love your commentary and your call-outs for these levels. Facts. And thank you for putting me I don't want to say to the sword, that's not what I mean, but making me explain why I have my strategy. It helps reinforce it in my own mind, and it helps, I'm sure, other traders as well not fall into the same trap. So thank you very much, West y'all, for that super chat, Joseph.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing. Like, I remember West y'all from when I first started sitting at this desk. So he's been in here for a hot minute. And what he says, I'm like, yeah, you're right, dude. And he contributes a lot. So thank you very much for that one there, West y'all. And I know you've been killing it. So congratulations on your journey and how well you've been doing. So yeah, we like that one here, guys. So let's see if we can continue to climb higher. RGTI, I got out right at the peak. That's going to be nice, but we're posted up here. Going to take another 5% out at the top on IBIT, but that one worked out. Again, this is the trade that we really wanted to hammer. It was earlier in the morning, guys. I told you I'm a momentum trader. The opening drive is where I thrive. I'm not trying to face Neil in a rap battle or anything like that, but here we go. This is what I want. And to Lewis, who asked me in the chat, he said, Joe, how do you get over this stuff? Well, look, Lewis, we're just going over it. You just got to stay focused. Whether you're down 2-0 in the game, 3-0, wherever it may be, stick within those parameters and stay true to yourself and just stay hyper-focused and locked in, and then sure enough, you can put together a couple shares, a couple nice trades. I am still slightly red on the day, full disclosure there, guys, just because of the size that I was pushing here. And it didn't work out, that's fine. But again, we're recovering nicely and we're putting on some nice trades, and that's what we want to do. That's the name of the game. So really, really good look there. DJ2M, yeah. that's not going to happen. We're going to go to Adara in 1. So we'll see here. So, okay, so really nice out there on RGTI as we start to pull back into some of these key levels. That trade is done, Zeno. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Just keep an eye here on Robinhood here, HOOD. About 10 minutes ago, Reuters was reporting here that Massachusetts regulators are looking into the company's March Madness basketball betting. So they've recovered, I think, pretty much all of this drop to the downside, but keep an eye here. We did have a couple minutes ago this drop in Robinhood as Reuters reports that Massachusetts regulators are looking into the company's March Madness betting practices. Guys, back to you.
Dara, and I'm curious in the chat too, guys. It's irrelevant to me what platform you're trading on or anything like that, but not in that context. But just let me know: are you guys trading these event contracts? That's what I'm curious. Just put yes or no in the chat because we know that a couple brokerages are starting to pick up these, and the steam is starting to really get rolling here on these event contracts, which I think is insane. It's essentially just another form of sports gambling. But just put yes or no if you're trading these event contracts in the chat because they are growing in Robinhood as well too. Like again, I can't speak good enough about those Robinhood numbers, and that's why I'm attracted to the name, Sharif.
Yeah, man. And
so a lot of people are saying no already. So
yeah, I don't know if I want to bet, Joseph. I just download DraftKings or something like that. I get it. It's nice to have it on your phone, but I just don't.
I just don't think the two should be mixed. No, you know what I mean.
You're already having people complaining about gamifying the stock market because you're on your phone punching into positions and stuff like that. Not like I really should care what they think, but. The fact of the matter is, people are complaining about the gamification of it, so you don't really need to add gambling.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Event content.
I don't really care. If they want to generate revenue, they can. That's what they're doing. They're generating revenue. So it's a revenue generator for them, right? They got license for it. We've got it on our platform, right? Our brokerage has it.
Yeah, they have it.
We could have bet on the election. There was what else did they throw? They threw the election down.
There's like temperature during the election. It's like temperature of the next day.
Really? I didn't see all that. You must have dug deep.
It's like, yo, what is going on here? Yeah,
Dara, but like that's normal, man. In England, you could bet on like the color of someone's soccer shoes or who touches the ball first or 10th. Like, there's literally anything you can bet on. Yeah. Anything that is discernible and factual can be bet on. I don't know, Dara. It's just the way it is.
I mean, the chat is mixed. Well, it's not mixed. I would say majority. Okay, do you want to cover that here quick before we go through the chat?
Go ahead.
I got the chat is just saying no. So
I agree.
No, and I agree with you guys on that front. I don't think the two should be mixed. And then Paul says stock trading is total gambling. I'm gonna disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will. You got to put probability in your favor. It is a probability. Like I guess career-based or whatever you would like to call it. But again, gambling is just punching some keys and just hoping things go up with not actually building a thesis or having data backing that thesis. So I would disagree, Paul, on the gambling aspect. You can totally treat it as gambling or you can treat it as a probability game, which I believe.
Absolutely. And I see what you're saying there, Jameson. Polymarket already does that. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to go off? I get that. I mean, I think that they're just looking at it from a revenue perspective kind of situation and not really because it's warranted. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you don't want to use the option on your brokerage, don't use it. I mean, that's really, it's incumbent upon you to make that decision. So MLGO's breaking out here, guys. I took 11 longs. It's literally the high of the day. I'm giving this about 10 pennies, so if it will have to hold 10, otherwise I'm gone. I'm looking for a continuation, possibly into that quarter dollar, and we just got stopped out. I mean, it's probably not the best idea to put your stop that close to 10 now that it's going to continue, but I just didn't want to give too much back on this, and it's at the high of the day. So probably not the best trade right there, especially have your stop so close to that $10 area. Definitely need to give a little bit more room, but we'll take the stop there. Yeah, and then it breaks into the high of the day, or not the high of the day, excuse me. It breaks into that 20 penny area. So a bit of a mistake there for me. Definitely shouldn't be trading it with such a tight stop on such a volatile name. But I'm just going to let this one cook with 15 minutes left on the show. This one could easily go into 300% and 400%. 300's on the door. We're knocking on the door at 300%. I meant to say it could easily go to 400%. We could see $11 very, very quickly on this one. It's at the high of the day, so anybody shorting near the highs, if the price keeps going up, likely will get squeezed out and they'll be forced to cover. So keep your eye on MLGO. It is by no means done the trade. 1073 high a day. I'll submit to you, though, that the real selling did come in at 10 1/3. That's where we're between 10 1/3 to 10 1/2 right there, with the wick going into, as I mentioned, that 75 penny area. So MLGO trying to defend 10 at the moment. Keep your eye on that. IMTE, there you go. There's so many buys on IMTE. Yeah, IMTE is interesting, certainly, but it has halted again to the high side. Like I mentioned, this one, just because it halted down doesn't mean that it was the end of the matter. As long as it's above VWAP, and especially if it's above that 10 exponential, even on a down halt, it's by no means out of the trading game, so to speak. We going to Adira?
I didn't get anything on it, yeah.
As we get here, a little bit of a push towards VWAP here for the NASDAQ. These slightly lower highs, lower lows continuing. We have very, very cautious comments coming through from Fed's Bostic saying that he's expecting inflation to be bumpy. Initially, he was seeing 2 rate cuts this year, but now he only sees 1. And saying that both families and firms are telling the Fed they really don't know where the economy is heading at this point. Literally, the first remarks from his statement that we saw come through here on X are, quote, "There is a lot of uncertainty." So uncertainty really marring Fed's Bostic's comments here, also saying that he's cut his own personal rate forecast for 2025, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, man. And you guys are looking at doing any of those type of trades that Joseph and I were talking to. Profit X, a fantastic one as well for anything like that. So just any interesting ones there. Keep your eye out on that.
There's some really good points in the chat, and you guys are right. Gambling is a probability game. I think there's differences as well, but I like what Crapsock said here as well too. He said, "Show me a roulette table or a blackjack table where you can cut your losses mid-hand." You can't, as soon as you put that chip down on it, it's gone, right? It's gone, whether you win or lose. Same with roulette, whatever game you're playing. When you put that in, win or lose, it's gone. And in this, you get the ability to say, hey, I don't like it, see you later. You don't get that ability to do so in some of the casino games. And I mean, yes, and Mark Douglas does refer to as a casino. I understand it does have a like of it. And a lot of people, we joke about it from time to time, but I don't think it's the same. I'm not going to put it in the same realm as sports gambling, to be honest with you. And that's just me. It's opinion, totally subjective. Yeah. If you can agree, you can disagree, whatever you're happy with, then yeah, sure, whatever.
Are there bets that you could get out of early if you're in the money?
Yeah,
if you're in the money.
They'll offer you something. Yeah.
How about if you're out of the money?
I'm not familiar with that, so yeah, I don't know if you're losing something. I highly doubt that if they do, they'll probably offer you something not necessarily even close, right? So you can get those offers from, I know some of the sports gambling ones, right? So, and that's the thing too. So if you have say you have a parlay and 2 of those 3 those bets are winning, then they'll offer you, say, 75% of what the full payout would be.
That's what I figured that was.
I don't know if you can do that to the opposite.
Only if you're in the money.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I don't know if there's the opposite side of that. So for all our sports gamblers, let us know if you can, if you get an offer, even though your bet isn't looking too good. So
yeah, that'd be great to know. It's like an area that or like an industry I have no idea about. I don't really bet. I don't really gamble. I never really did it in Proline. Did you ever play Proline?
Yeah, I used to play a lot of Proline.
Proline is just like our government-run one.
Yeah, exactly. But that was when I was 18, right? The day you turn 18, you go and you grab a couple Prolines. And
it's never been my thing. I don't understand I get the over/under now, but for a lot, I didn't understand anything.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it used to be you had to pick 3 games and 3 tickets within it. Say if you do an in-game thing, you'd have to pick 3. But now you can just do single game betting, which is more along my line. What I was doing for a while, I would just pick one fighter that I really liked and just rode it for the whole UFC. And that's exhilarating for me.
I like it. All right, we're punching along PSTV here. I'm giving this to 133. So 133 is my out on PSTV. I like the curl and the hold up of 135. So if it loses that area, I'm gone. Simple as that. We're just going to give this one the old college try over here. Let's load up some possible beak wetters. We'll load them up like that, and we'll just load them up just like this. So if it does pop up, I do get some prints to the high side over here. I'm talking about PSTV. It's up 17%. It's not the biggest mover on the day, certainly, no doubt about that. But it is putting in higher lows and a few bottoming tail candles right now at that level. Los Polos Hermanos, do you know about the bet Brexit, Trump win, and Leicester winning the Premier League? No, I didn't. Because that was literally the year Leicester won the Prem and the Orange Man got elected that same November. Yeah, that was actually it. I didn't know about that. That's brilliant. I bet you those were two very low probability bets, and that's what you're talking about. And Brexit as well, I think, happened that year. I didn't know anything about that. Thank you for letting me know about that. Eddie R., those offers happened in 2015 when Leicester City won the Premier League. Makes absolute sense to me. Nobody thought that Leicester was going to win the Prem. I think that there was a part of the year when Arsenal lost, because Arsenal was second that year, that Arsenal, I think it was Arsenal losing to Everton, if I'm not mistaken. And then that was basically like the 10-point difference, and Arsenal never recovered after that. And then the odds went up huge for Leicester. But I think that Arsenal actually had the higher probability to win, even though they were in second for like the majority of the year. I could be wrong on that. It's been a long time since that's happened, so I'm not remembering exactly right. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for reminding me about that. Good times there. We're getting a bunch of prints though here on NAK. This took forever to manifest, nice. Joseph. NAK will take 24s. Now I'm waiting at 26 and 28. Adara, what is happening up there?
What's happening are more comments from Feds Bostic. As we mentioned earlier, Feds Bostic is very skeptical and very cautious here, saying that he's actually lowered his own personal rate cut forecast this year from 2 cuts in 2025 to now 1. Now he's actually talking about tariffs, so you always want to keep an eye out here for tariff talk. Feds Bostic saying that the Fed has to acknowledge the fact that historically, tariffs have usually been a one-time jump in prices. But he's saying that, quote, this may be questionable this time. As we know, Donald Trump has made it very clear that he's willing to move these tariffs as he sees fit throughout their lifetime or throughout their spans. So keep that in mind here. Apparently, because of that, Feds Bostic saying that the Fed has to be on watch with this. He also says they don't want to move in one direction then have to undo it, so they're going to be more patient. Basically, the long story short is every comment that Feds Bostic has made so far suggests the Fed's going to be pretty cautious in their rate approach going forward, again, because of tariffs and the overall economic conditions. Also worth noting here, Donald Trump is set to speak at 2 p.m., so in about 5 minutes here, 2 p.m. Eastern, set to speak alongside the governor of Louisiana at 2 p.m. He'll speak again at 3 p.m. at Greek Independence celebration, and then we're going to get Feds Barr speaking about 10 minutes after that, so lots of speaking heading into the afternoon. Back to the Bash Brothers.
I used to know the grandson. I don't want to say his name.
Magna? The Magna girl, the Stronach?
The grandson,
yeah. Knowing Stronach now is a little...
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So. Seemed to have been taking liberties with people that he was not entitled to take liberties with.
I knew that.
We'll just leave it at that.
That was the grandfather, though, I believe.
Yeah. Belinda Stronach is his daughter. Mm-hmm. She was I think she was a heavyweight in the Conservative Party.
Oh, was she?
At the federal level, but then she tried. I think she left after Stephen Harper. But not much has happened.
I went to the.
We're talking about the owners of Magna, by the way, guys.
It's a car part company here. Yeah, and what Randy was telling us is that Magna made a deal with NVDA, so that would be interesting. But yeah, I've been to that compound.
It's a beautiful, an Aurora, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, bro. They have
Have you been?
Yeah, the community center that they have there, the Magna Community Center. It's a monster. You play hockey there, I'm assuming.
Bro, I never. Yeah. No, I went to their actual. Yeah, like Belinda's estate.
Their monster house that they have there.
Dude, so it's like house 1 is the grandsons. Pool, own lake, everything.
Driven
you
by
go
that.
down. Oh, dude, I went to one of the craziest parties there ever. I was probably in my.
I want to hear everything.
Yeah, we were about like 18. So all my buddies from high school played rugby with the grandson. So, anyways, they had a rugby party, and there was probably about 1,000, probably about 300-400, not thousands, quite a bit. But they have like the pool, their own pool there, the outdoor kitchen, etc. Just a massive compound that this kid owned, and he was a teenager at the time too. And we had the most insane party there ever. It was absolutely insane. Yeah, it was crazy.
Great times. I can't say I've ever been to that dude's house, or
dude, he has his own lake.
A multi-billionaire, one of the richest men in the country. Just Frank Stronach is his name. He doesn't have a good reputation anymore.
Well, that's the grandson's name too. So I guess
it was Frank Jr.?
Yeah. So that's the grandson's name too. So yeah, it's like Frank's house, then Belinda's, and then the grandfather's in the back, and it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, it's
a big house. I was just actually in Aurora yesterday.
It's multiple houses on the compound. It's
nuts,
just it's insane.
Beautiful look there.
Yeah.
Guys, what's the situation with MLGO? It's a rocket ship, that's what it's doing. But it is possibly double topping here, guys, at 1050. So we have an 1120 high a day, but it looks kind of ugly with this topping tail candle, even though the topping tail candle ended up closing green. This is what I'm seeing right now on MLGO. You took out that level, you squeezed out all the shorts, but either people were taking profits awfully aggressively from 1050 to 1120, or shorts are scrambling and putting in new positions here, Katina, man, because this thing is up like a dang rocket ship, 303% on the day, but having a lot of trouble with 1050 as it's had all day. We'll see how this ends up trading as we close out the day here, but MLGO has been a rocket ship. And Tisha, you don't usually stay this long in the chat. Yes, I see you. Yes, back and forth. Don't buy the highs. I'm not, Tish. I'm not buying these highs. I've made it today on MLGO, and I don't want to give back up. This is the trade that we kind of lost 10 pennies quick as you like on, and the reason is because I just didn't want to give too much back up there. Ended up being a paper-handed move, might be, but you're not gonna win everything. Anyway, defending 10 right now, but the bid is getting taken out. But there it goes above 10. A little zig, a little zag. This one is on one. Certainly keep your eye out on that. N8K, we're doing well on that. Show me 23s. The next level I'm waiting at is, let me just make sure that that's not a real print. That's not a real print. Next level I'm waiting at is 26 and 28. But the one that we're currently out of the money on is PSTV. Where is PSTV? There it is. Show me 36. All of a sudden, the volume disappeared. What happened to the volume on PSTV? It looks like it's not even trading. It literally is just standing still at $1.36. I'm long $1.39, and now it's not moving. So this is not a glowing endorsement to go long here with the volume dropping off a cliff. And the price not going to go up without volume, I can promise you that. So I'm going to probably move up my stop now from that $1.30. I'm going to move it up a little bit higher here because I don't want to give back anything, if at all, on PSTV. We'll see if we can get out break even here. Joseph, what do you got with 1 minute left?
Yeah, I'm just talking to Anu. Yeah, I didn't trade MLGO. I know Sharif traded it pretty well today, so that's a good look. I'm just sitting here in IBIT. I have a little bit left of this position. We'll hold it for the crack of 50.32 and for the high day as well too. So yeah, not a horrible look there. That worked out really, really well. Wow, whoa. DJ 2 a.m. with the deuce, 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 deuce. Let's go. Thank you for that one. Just a small token of appreciation. Thank you, DJ. Still waiting on those Dolph mixtapes. Yeah, that's what he does. He makes mixtapes and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you, DJ. Much appreciated, my friend. And just like, who was it who put it in the chat? Oh, West, y'all. You two, when you guys are in the chat, we love that you guys are constantly chiming in and you're regulars. So very much appreciated for that. And I mean, we still got a lot of food we got to buy. You weren't here on Friday, so we got to still get that stuff.
Oh yeah, completely forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking
hopefully
tacos
we'll do this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm good with tacos. I have no issues
get
with
some
tacos. Pack on the protein, baby.
Yeah,
we can make our own tacos.
Exactly. There you go.
Take all of that protein.
Bowls and everything along those lines. But guys, it is 2 o'clock.
I just want to give them a couple more ideas before we go. Before we go to the big kahunas, IMTE is at the high of the day right now. Guys, it's going to take out that high right now. That's this one here without a ticker. 221 high. It's showing me 17, 16s. This one is on one. Also, Mara, Katina, man, you have that one right. 1439. It is at the high of the day as we speak. MARA up 16.25%. So keep your eye out on those bad boys. LUNR as well. Very strong, but very slow. And then needless to mention, MLGO, PSTV, and IMTE. Those are the big boy, what are they called? Small cap gappers on the day. But you're probably going to see a whole bunch of large caps now and the Mag 7. We're going to send you off to the big kahunas. Joseph and I will be back tomorrow. Peace.
Hit that like before you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, yo. What's up,
Yeah,
everybody? Thank
buddy.
you, Sharif. Thank you, Joe.
Yo, we were just talking about some interesting stuff. We'll get into it more with it because we're talking about sports betting the whole time, and we got some ideas that we're gonna throw around.
We got some NFL draft stuff that we're going to throw down on Profit X.
Yes,
We are going to light that.
we're gonna light
website
it up on Profit
fire.
X.